can improve on that facet, Megan and Gil, after this next one at 15 all. We will check up on Ash momentarily as well. It is a scuffed forehand that goes into the camera well on the opposite side for 30-15 for Musetti.
I think what Pecci Perricard needs to do is develop ways to return offensively, particularly on his second return. He needs to make that backhand return more threatening, because that's what players do on the second serve. They kick it to his backhand and they feel safe.
Body serve by Musetti executed beautifully off a slice backhand miss by Pecci Perricard. It's 40-15 for Musetti. Again, you're listening to Musetti trying to make it 4-all in the opening set.
Here's what I would say, is that Pecci Perricard, his stance on his return, you have a couple different options. You split step twice and kind of wait for the ball to come to you. He is going to every ball. He's really aggressive with his footwork, which again, he's trying to take time away from Musetti, but he's also taking time away from himself, and he's not able to connect with those returns well enough. So I would want his coaching team to go back and figure out some different stances and different looks with his footwork off of the return.
Hold there for Musetti, 4-all on serve, opening set. Gil.
I agree with that, Megan. And by the way, I was a little generous when I was describing the statistics here for Pecci Perricard, so let me be very exact now. In the last 52 weeks, Pecci Perricard breaks serve in 7.7% of his return games. That is the worst in the top 50. The next worst is Lorenzo Sonego at 14.6%, nearly twice as often.
Sometimes when you have such a glaring strength, like Pecci Perricard's serve, you neglect working on some of those weaknesses. But the definition of deliberate practice is to target an inherent weakness. And this is something that in the off-season, Pecci Perricard and his team can go back and try and get to that 14%.
Gil, Megan, you bring up excellent points. And remember, it's only the 7th Grand Slam of the young career. Perricard with a serve +1. Musetti can't bat it back off the forehand, and he's very deep into the court from Pecci Perricard's service. And now it's 30-love for the Frenchman over Musetti. Again, as a programming note, in just a matter of a couple of moments, we will hear the walkout interviews of Emiliana Arango in her first U.S. Open main draw appearance against the 2-seed, 2022 U.S. Open champ Iga Swiatek. I'm proud to say that our colleague on U.S. Open Radio, Prim Siripapat, will be anchoring and handling those walkout interviews inside Ash Stadium. That will be in a matter of moments. It's now 30-15, picking up this 4th point upcoming of this 9th game. Opening set 4-all if you're just tuning into us right now. Part of our day 3 coverage. Let's check in with Prim, chatting with Emiliana Arango now in Ash.
US Open main draw debut. Take me inside your internal world and tell me how you're feeling as you prepare to step foot inside one of the greatest tennis stadiums in the world.
Well, I'm definitely very excited. As you just said, it is my main draw debut, so it is pretty cool to get to do it on a stadium like this.
Going up against the world number 2, a 6-time Grand Slam champion, how does somebody like you generate self-confidence and self-belief when you're going out there?
I mean, I know I have certainly put in the hours on the practice courts, and I trust the work that I've been putting in with my team, and I just gotta believe and have faith that it will come out the best way possible today.
Enjoy the experience and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Arango coming in at number 84 on tour, 19-18 this year, and now Prim is with 2022 champion Iga Swiatek.
Iga, you're coming into the U.S. Open in top form, but how does somebody like you, dubbed the favorite in this year's tournament, experience not only first-round excitement, but maybe even nerves?
Honestly, I wouldn't call anyone a favorite. For sure, I feel confident, but tennis is pretty unpredictable, so you always need to have your feet on the ground. And yeah, first rounds are always tricky, so I'll just focus on adjusting and feeling the court.
I know you haven't met Emiliana in a WTA tour level event, but tell me a little bit, do you remember anything from the juniors, particularly when you two met in the 2017 Roland Garros juniors?
Yeah, I remember a lot. She has a different game style than most of players, so it's kind of easy to remember. And for sure, I prepared tactically based on what she played last week, so I feel ready.
Best of luck, Iga. Thank you so much.
Well done by Prim. She's got a better memory, Megan and Gil, than me from the juniors. And here come the walkouts interviews are done. Here come the walkouts now on court inside Ash.
From Colombia, Emiliana Arango.
That's Blair Henley, the PA voice this afternoon. Arango coming off of a first-round exit in Cincinnati and a daunting task against the world number 2 for Arango. It's the 6-time Grand Slam champion. Won the French 4 times, including 3 of the last 5.
And from Poland, Iga Swiatek.
And as I said to you, Gil and Megan, I think Swiatek comes in with a ton of confidence. I loved watching her in the mixed doubles championship as well. Before we go back to an update on Armstrong, I want to get your perspective and outlook on this Arango-Swiatek matchup.
Yeah, I think for Iga, she'll feel really solid about this draw. I don't think there's really any draw that Iga wouldn't feel okay about, but Arango's a very good mover, makes a lot of balls back in the court, plays pretty deep in the court. I think Swiatek is going to have a lot of time to get into position for her shots, get inside the baseline, dictate the rallies. It should be really up Swiatek's alley in terms of how the points are being played.
I think Iga is, she said it, she's not feeling confident. She's certainly feeling confident, but she's kind of recognizing that it's a first-round match, and you just don't know what's going to happen. Although we know she's always going to be prepared to play. She's already talked about how this is a different style player, not someone that she's played very often, but she and her team make sure that they had the strategy, they've looked, they know what to do, and she's going to go out there and execute.
So this is a former top 10 junior in the world. She was a 2017 Junior U.S. Open. She did very well in the juniors, also at Wimbledon and also at the U.S. Open and others as well. She is a fantastic baseline player. I just think today I'll be curious how she can try to turn defense into offense against Iga Swiatek. That is my question for that matchup. Let's get back to Armstrong while they begin the warm-ups there on Ash. We'll get to that matchup in a moment. Musetti taking on Perricard to start our day on U.S. Open Radio. It's route now 40-15. We've been on serve. Perricard just hit a return winner cross court, stepping into the court beautifully. And it's now 45 in this 10th game, opening set. Again, on serve, 4-5. Musetti serving here. Takes the racket back above his Asics white headband, misses the first serve. Slices it to the ball crew, and the Ralph Lauren gear will be a second serve for Musetti. He's only dropped 2 second serve points, by the way, this afternoon. Perricard comes in with a one-handed backhand. Musetti is there. It's a sitter for Perricard. It's right at Musetti, who stabs it back. Low volley, good by Perricard. And the forehand approach, successful. Open court, Musetti on serve. We got a good one, guys. 5-all, opening set.
There are the defensive racket skills of Musetti. Full stretch on the forehand. He was able to get the ball back into the court and absorb a huge Perricard forehand that went right at the one-hander. But Musetti able to abbreviate his take back and kind of block that first passing shot low to give Perricard a tough volley.
For those of you at home listening, tennis players, wherever you are in the world, I talk about grips. So semi-Western, continental, and you have to know, those of you who do not play tennis, that you can hold the grip. You can hold the racket so many different ways, and there's so many possibilities and styles of play. So if you're just starting the game, shake that racket's hand and see what you can do with the ball.
See that heavy Western. It is a pass, though, by Musetti here, Megan and Gil, coming in with authority. Thrashes that head racket with a lot of steam at love 15 there. It was a good return into the service box on the ad side to start the point.
If you give Musetti a target, and that's what you do essentially by coming forward to the net, Lorenzo's a shot maker.
First serve flails a little bit long into the doubles alley, cradles. To the ad side will be a second serve for Perricard, who rocks back, booms forward, rams it in the forward to Musetti, late scurrying to his right. Good tee serve by Perricard to make it 15-all. Again, 5-all here in the opening set.
I think it's going to be important that when Perricard comes in, he's coming in on an approach shot that's good enough to force Musetti to slice the ball. That's when he'll get a nice, comfortable high volley.
I'd say, Gil, that that's not an approach shot. That's a well-constructed point that stretches him to allow him to come forward.
In the midst of a 15-all-point Musetti with a slice back in, plenty of time, a twist of the hips, big uniturn executed beautifully by Perricard, and a baseline exchange missed by Musetti. A lot of time and space there for Perricard. On his serve, he's up 30-15, 5-all.
For Musetti, this is a point that he can't lose. Perricard's not quite as sharp with his serve, Musetti got him on that low volley, and that point was a neutral point that Musetti had to make him play.
He rocks back, belts forward, strings collide into the ball in the midst of a 30-15 point. Musetti is returning deep and misses it. He was on his back heel that time, guys. Tried to flutter that one-handed backhand in, ultimately did not. 40-15 game points for Perricard at 5-all.
I agree with Megan. The last 2 points, when Musetti makes a good deep return into play, he expects to win that rally and certainly not lose it by making an error.
And it's the fourth ace executed, a T serve for Perricard there at 138. He is up 6-5 at the tail end of this first set, and a good one. Back in a moment. U.S. Open Radio presented by American Express. We've got a great matchup here inside Louis Armstrong Stadium. Day 3 coverage of U.S. Open Radio presented by American Express. With Megan Moulton-Levy and Gil Gross, our talented team taking you from first ball to last. I'm Dave Leno, joined by engineer-producer Jaime Colon. Right now, Musetti on serve at 5-6, 34 minutes in. First serve crashes into the one-handed backhand of Perricard, who is there. Musetti with time, big uniturn of the forehand, thrashes into the deuce side. Perricard in the baseline exchange. Aurelia, maybe 6 shots. The Frenchman misses. 15-love for Musetti.
That was a wild miss. I mean, that was a right type of shot. Perricard was probably 6 or 7 feet behind the baseline. He hit it with the right shape, but he framed that ball, which tells me he likes to go big. And surprisingly, he's at a +5 margin. He has hit 10 winners and 5 unforced errors. So he's really containing himself. He hasn't made that many unforced errors yet. But as this match gets tight, I want to see what happens.
More safety balls here for both players at a big 15-love points. Perricard in the end misses just past the baseline, middle of the court. I'm seeing more shape from both players, and this is a pressured moment, Gil, right now at 5-6, 30-love.
Yeah, well, Musetti is playing from deep in the court in these rallies and putting a lot of height and spin on the ball to push Perricard back. And Perricard is getting forced back, but he's not dangerous from there. He needs to take those balls on the rise when possible.
Another ace out wide, Gil, to your points. 5th ace in the match for Musetti, 4 for one of the top servers, Perricard, looking for the love hold to get us to a tiebreak.
Musetti, on the other hand, I'm fine if he's playing far back because he's going to use his legs, defend, extend rallies into error. That's his game, but it's not Perricard.
You're listening to Musetti trying to get us to a first set tiebreak with the drop shot here. Serve +1, good. Perricard was a couple steps beyond the baseline. We're going to the distance, Megan and Gil, to a first set breaker. Musetti against Perricard.
Musetti's got a great forehand drop shot. Terrific feel in the hands. And very well disguised. He doesn't actually, you were talking about grips earlier, Megan. He doesn't change to full continental. He slides it over to Eastern, which is closer to his regular forehand grip.
Pecci Perricard 15 and 12 in tie breaks with a forehand inside in. Musetti there, backhand slice volley, good. Pecci Perricard running behind Musetti. You've loved the transitions this afternoon, Megan, of Pecci Perricard, who leads 1-0 in the tie break.
That's a perfect example of a well-constructed point. Started with an excellently placed serve, and Pecci Perricard created an opening for that high backhand volley, which is quite a difficult volley to hit, but he was able to take the pace off and hit a winner that landed inside the service box.
I'm right there with you. One of the more arduous shots on tour and also recreationally. Good serve +1 by Musetti. Out wide, ad side, came in beautifully there, 1-all.
Curious to see how many forehand returns Pecci Perricard gets in this tiebreak. That's the first serve point for Musetti. Usually when things get tight in a breaker, you go to your best serve locations.
Right.
And for me, it's going to be Musetti hammering that backhand of the Frenchman.
1-all here in the tiebreak. Race to 7, of course, win by 2 for those listening who aren't familiar. This is a first-round men's singles matchup at Armstrong. As a programming note, we will go inside Ash in a little bit for Swiatek and Arango. That has just started. The fourth point of that first game is underway. Pecci Perricard with the forehand misses poorly. Now that wails all the way to the back digital backdrop. The point to Musetti. 2-1 Musetti in the tiebreak.
He might have been caught off guard there because Musetti hit the second serve harder at the forehand of Pecci Perricard. And there were no strings on that forehand return. That's all graphite.
That's 2 in a row, Gil. And Megan, 1 by Musetti. Pecci Perricard serving ad side. He rams forward, misses, opted for the tee serve. Trickles to the opposite side service box. Musetti confident returning, jumping up, spinning his racket on that Torna grip, swaying side to side. Big split step, has the backhand slice return. Pecci Perricard comes in, forehand slice volley, one-handed backhand missing up the line. Musetti very poorly, might I add. 2-all.
With such a wingspan, Pecci Perricard doesn't have to be as precise with his volleys and approach shots because he can cover so much of the court. He closed forward, squeezing Musetti's space. Musetti wasn't able to get the ball past him and swung really big and missed that ball long.
2-all here in the tiebreak. If you're just tuning in, Musetti against Pecci Perricard. Slider out wide, just missing, but not a bad idea. We've seen the variety, as both Megan and Gil have documented here on U.S. Open Radio, from both servers today. 2-all second serve of the tiebreak. It is a serve and volley for Pecci Perricard. Musetti trying to pass and just misses. He slid to his left, ad side from no man's man, tried to flick it on the short angle and could not. The point to Pecci Perricard.
Oh, better connection there by Musetti. He almost made the pass. The one before, Lorenzo would have been very disappointed in missing that by a lot. But I got to also shout out the second serve of Pecci Perricard. So good. 110 into the body to set up a nice, comfortable first volley.
You're right, Gil. We've seen a slew of body serves, really from both players. Here's Musetti, 2-3 tiebreak for this first-round matchup. First one, wails a little bit long. Opted to go to the backhand side, ad side of the court to Pecci Perricard. Ultimately, Musetti miss. Perricard is ready, has one hand on the bottom of the handle, the other on the neck of the racket. Rips the one-handed backhand into the slice backhand of Musetti. Perricard is there, deuce out of the court. Musetti opts for a cross court. It is blocked back by Perricard, goes centrally now with the backhand right in the middle. Musetti backs up, time and space here, taking it on the rise, Pecci Perricard. And as a result, Musetti misses the backhand. Pecci Perricard is now up 4-2 at the mini break here in the tiebreak.
Pecci Perricard is hammering that ball deep middle, which is a great play, particularly at 6-all in the first set. He's up 4-3, wanting to maintain his lead off of his serve, and he's missed some of those, but he swung out with a little bit more rotation on the ball on his forehand, which made the ball dive into the court.
That's going to be the mindset for Pecci Perricard. When he gets a forehand that he can hit, there's no holding back. It's green light every time because as soon as he gets a little bit passive, he allows Musetti to take control of the point. It's basically over for Pecci Perricard. So that's a good approach on the forehand. And you're right, he beat him with straight pace right up the middle.
All right, Pecci Perricard after the changeover, guys, at 4-2 in the mini break. Musetti surplus one. Perricard trying to pass. He cannot. So 3 in a row by Perricard going to the wastebasket. Musetti gets the point. It's 4-3 in the tiebreak for the Frenchman Perricard up over Musetti. Back to the Perricard service here at 4-3 again in the tiebreak. 1-1 in the Swiatek Arango matchup. We will get to that in Ash in just a little bit.
Perricard has come in 12 times throughout this match. Musetti has only come in 6. But he came in on that last point, which was an excellent look, just changing the dimensions of court for Perricard, who was not able to win that approach point.
Musetti had a chance to pass because Perricard, I thought Megan was a little indecisive coming in. He ripped the approach, but right at Musetti to his left and missed it. 5-3 now for Perricard, 2 points away from the summit and taking this opening set over the seeded player, Musetti. I mentioned in our preview breakfast show, 10 seeds, Gil, eliminated for the first 2 days. A serve that was ripped at 139 but missed will be a second serve from Perricard. It is blocked back by Musetti, ripping the backhand. It is good from Perricard. And forehand missed centrally by Musetti. Set points for the Frenchman.
Dave, I just want to say that not only was that first serve from Perricard miss, it almost hit Musetti in the feet.
Yeah, but another big second serve. I actually thought it was a good chip return by Musetti down the line at Perricard's backhand, but really excellent first backhand down the line, hard by Perricard to draw another error.
All right, so multiple set points for Perricard, 6-3 over Musetti. Musetti serving to the left of the chair, booms into the forehand. Perricard is there centrally. Musetti inside-in forehand missing into the doubles alley. And the first set collected to Giovanni Perricard through a tiebreak, 7-3 in particular in the breaker to take the first set.
That was not a good breaker by Lorenzo Musetti. He made way too many errors off the ground. That last one was just a routine forehand. He had 3 backhand passing shots in that breaker, and he didn't make any of them in the court, not even forcing Giovanni to hit a volley.
Those are hard shots to hit. But one thing I want to break down is, like, what is a tiebreaker? If you don't play tennis, how do we explain what a tiebreaker is?
So it's a race to 7, win by 2. They switch serves after first someone gets the first serve, then it goes to the other side, they get 2, and then they change at when it gets the 6 total points, and then you change when it's further on than that, so it can keep going and going and going. And a tiebreaker at 6-all, I hate playing them, Megan. Hopefully I explained that kind of pretty easily.
You did great.
Okay.
As a diehard tennis player, tennis fan,
Yep.
coach, I apologize to those of you who have never played the sport before and get confused by our scoring system. But I promise you, try it out. Just keep serving 2 points and switching sides, and you'll be just fine.
I agree. And look, it gives both players a chance to serve. That, at the end, it's not a bad way to determine who will win the set. We will take a timeout. On the other side, we'll get you score updates. We'll go inside Ash, and our Gil Gross will have the remaining updates on this Musetti and Perricard matchup. This is U.S. Open Radio on Day 3, presented by American Express. Approaching noon Eastern here in New York, nestled in the United States on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express with Megan Moulton-Levy and Gil Gross. I'm Dave Lena. We are back cradled inside the beautiful Arthur Ashe Stadium, where Iga Swiatek, 2022 U.S. Open champ, is tussling with Emiliana Arango, her first U.S. Open main draw appearance for Arango. We are picking up this match, fourth game, opening set. We are on serve, and it's in a 15-all point. Arango with a backhand slice, twisting the hips inside in by Swiatek. Arango's there centrally. Iga brings out Arango to her left with a backhand slice. Swiatek with a backhand of her own and a missed backhand slice. Arango deep into the ad side of the court. Arango hanging in despite Iga winning that point at 15-30. Best result for Arango. She won a WTA 125 event in Cancun. She bested a qualifier, Carson Brandstein, 2-1 on a hard court in February. In the midst of a 5:30 point, Swiatek backs up, takes it about waist high, plenty of height on that ball. A lob ball here by Arango. Swiatek handles it cleanly. Arango with a backhand slice, cradles to the bottom of the net and falls on her side. And Iga, Megan, multiple opportunities to break for the first time at 15:40.
So Arango is finding herself really deep in the court, and with the shadow is cutting off the court just beyond the service line. So it's not a normal shadow that we see. Normally, when we're watching these matches, we see a shadow going down the middle of the court along the service line, and this one is going the opposite way with the shade just beyond the service line, having 3/4 of the court with the sun and a little bit in the shade, and Arango is on that side, struggling to turn defense into offense.
You're spot on with the conditions. I always think, Megan, it's so hard for the players that are on the opposite the press box side inside Ashe, for those that are familiar coming on site. And for Iga right now playing in the sun, she did break in the fourth game of the opening set, so there's the first breakthrough against Arango. As our Prim Saripapad, who, by the way, handled the walkout interviews beautifully on Ashe today. It's 3-1 Swiatek, world number 2, over Arango, and serving from the left of the chair. Blocked back by Arango. A sitter inside out, missing doubles Ellie ad side for Swiatek.
And Arango is using her continental grip, which is that grip, that handshake grip that you use when you're trying to put underspin on the ball. She's using that continental grip to bunt the ball deep, keep Swiatek from attacking, and it worked on that last point.
In the midst, Megan, of a love 15 point. Again, Arango is the one returning. She just got broken. If you're just tuning in on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express, on the U.S. Open app, usopen.org, SiriusXM, channel 982, or you can search U.S. Open Tennis on the SiriusXM app. Also on TuneIn. Don't forget, if you're coming to site, to grabbing those Amex radios as well. In the midst of a love 15 point, Swiatek twists the hips, inside out forehand, missing again. That's the second reply off the inside out forehand, with plenty of topspin from the Western grip of Swiatek at love 30.
So when I'm coaching players, I ask them to really pay attention to where the errors come so they can start to build a story around where they need to go at big moments. We've seen 2 back-to-back forehand inside-out errors from Swiatek, and I hope that Arango is paying attention to what's happening.
She's a couple steps beyond the baseline. Her left hand's on top of her right, swaying side to side. Swiatek with the take back, booms into the ball, goes out wide on a slider, deuce side. Be a second serve upcoming for Iga Swiatek, coming off of the Cincinnati final, where she topped Jasmine Paolini 5-4 in that 1,000 event. Arango has it here at love 30. Swiatek inside in. She finally gets a point, Megan, in the 5th game.
But you got to pay attention. Iga was going inside in, not inside out.
Right.
So her body weight was shifting to the left rather than getting around the ball enough. So Arango, she got to keep her antennas up and making sure she knows exactly what's happening out there.
5 winners for Swiatek to the frugal 0 for Arango. Arango's other terrific result, Megan, she won the Merida Open in Mexico back in March. That was a WTA 500 event. She got through qualifying there, went to the finals, but did get double bageled to none other than Emma Navarro, who won several days ago over on Grandstand here at the U.S. Open. Navarro into the second round in New York. In the midst of a 15-30 point, Arango goes right into the backhand of Swiatek. She gets it in. Arango with the backhand slice, backs up Iga outside of the court with a flat backhand, and Arango misses the backhand reply on the next exchange. So Megan, it goes from love 30. Iga gets 2 straight, 30 all, 3-1 Swiatek in the match.
I understand why Swiatek said she can be disruptive as a player and she plays differently. Arango is using a lot of slice, a lot of underspin, which changes how Iga needs to hit the ball. It changes the pace at which she's hitting the ball and how much pace she has to supply.
We're in prime time in London, 6 a.m. in Bora Bora for our listeners from around the world. Megan, 30-all point here, a big one for Arango down the break. Swiatek inside in, forehand, and very deep is Arango, who can't scurry to her right and get it. 3 straight points Swiatek to consolidate the break. She's up 40-30 in the game.
It's not that Arango did anything wrong, but Iga stepped up her game, which is what you expect from the number 2 seed, multiple Grand Slam winner.
40-30 point here for Swiatek to go up 4-1. Ball to the edge of her Technofiber racket. Off the white grip, she crashes into the ball. Arango's there on the ad side, inside out forehand, swooped in by Swiatek. Arango jets to her right with a forehand on the run. Her right foot was on top of her left, and it's a forehand blasted down the line by Iga Swiatek, who consolidates the break and is up 4-1.
Guys, update from Stadium 17. The fan favorite Denis Shapovalov, former world number 10, takes the opening set against Martin Fucsovics, coming off of his 3rd career ATP title in Winston-Salem. But you guys, that has not always meant success at the U.S. Open. In fact, the last player to make the 3rd round of the U.S. Open after winning Winston-Salem was Kevin Anderson. I think it was back in 2016 when Anderson won Winston-Salem. So it's a very difficult turnaround. Again, Fucsovics down in the opening set against Denis Shapovalov. Other scores around the grounds. On grandstand, Marta Kostyuk up 6-4, took the first set over Katie Boulter. Kostyuk's the 27 seed, and an interesting run of results coming in to this U.S. Open. She was in a massive slump coming into Canada, made the quarterfinals there. Then in Cincinnati, she beat Tatiana Maria 6-love, 6-1, was set to face one of her good friends, Iga Swiatek, and actually had to withdraw due to a right wrist injury. And considering the match previous was 6-0, 6-1, you'd have to assume, Megan, that something happened in practice or warming up before the match for Marta Kostyuk. So far, so good. She looks healthy. Up a set and a break now against Katie Boulter, 6-4 and 1-love.
When you're feeling confident, she's had so much success, you don't let an injury or something like that get the better of you, because you know you're riding high. If she can bounce out of that kind of one match she had because of her potential injury, we don't know. I think she's prepared to play pretty well here.
Gil, Megan, great stuff. Awesome updates on our day 3 coverage with our talented team. Arango is down the break 1, Megan. Inside in forehand, Swiatek can't fight it off with a flat backhand. And Arango, Megan, 20 minutes in, down the break 1-4. How can she be better executing? Because I just find that court position for me is a little concerning right now.
You got it. And when you say concerning, what do you mean?
She's so deep beyond the baseline, Megan. Come on, Coach Megan. Tell me, how does that improve for Arango moving forward?
You are awesome. That's exactly what I'm thinking. When you are so far back in the court, the court changes. This is geometry. So that far back, she has to be willing to miss some balls long. Let her figure out what's a range that she needs to hit to keep Iga from keeping her that far deep in the court.
Swiatek does miss the return. Arango went out wide to Saiv at a serve at 100. By the way, she's won 5 of 9 first service points. Conversely, Swiatek has just lost 1 in that regard, 8 of 9 to hammer home that point. As Arango searching Megan for a love hold, she's up 40 love, but down the break 1-4.
I gotta say hola to mi amigos in Mexico.
That's right. Hola, hace mucho que no nos vemos. I haven't seen you in a long time, I just said.
That was too much for me. You went far beyond me.
We'll keep it riding, Megan. We're going to learn a lot here on U.S. Open Radio. Here with the backhand, does that flutter in for Swiatek? It does, off the short angle. Wow. From the ad side, she stepped in and hit it in the service box on the ad side on the Arango half. That was majestic from Swiatek. She is up the break 4-1, and is Arango serving at 40-15, trying to make it 2-4. First service blasted into the middle of a net from Emiliana Arango, her first U.S. Open main draw appearance. She did not qualify at the U.S. Open the last 2 years in New York. Kicks in the serve on a 45. Swiatek goes right at Arango, a couple steps beyond the baseline. Swiatek runs it on the backhand, whips it as an overhead right past Arango with a backhand slice lob. That falls on her half, and Arango does not get the point. It is Swiatek at 40-30. Quickly, I want to get an update to Gil, who's inside Armstrong.
It's the first break point of the match on Armstrong. We're 2-1 second set, and it belongs to Lorenzo Musetti on a second serve, returns it into the feet of Perricard, who makes a half volley. Passing shot gunned up the middle. Perricard misses the second forehand volley into the alley. And that is all Musetti needs to capture his first break of the match.
That's a huge breakthrough right now, because that was a tight first set tiebreak that we saw, Megan, between the two. And what a matchup, Musetti and Perricard here. Contrasting styles, but the two are stride for stride here in the second.
Contrasting styles, but Musetti is really just settled into not being rattled by losing the first set.
Right.
And that's what we got to see from some of these seeds in their first round. He hasn't been doing that well, but I'm really excited about how he's just been able to maintain his composure throughout this second set.
And that break was all about missed first serve from Perricard, because when he's made his first serve, he's won 25 out of the 26 points in this match.
And Gil, if he's a seeded player, I know it's early, but if he's one to go down, that would be the highest seed to be eliminated on the men's side. Remember, Medvedev, the 13 seed, out. Musetti coming in as the 10 seed. Swiatek just got that game, a commanding lead here over Emiliana Arango. Just broke her yet again at 5-1. That means Megan Swiatek will be serving for the opening set on Ash.
And Arango was up 40-15 at least in that game, and couldn't convert to consolidate that hold there.
All right, so now Swiatek serving for this opening set. I mentioned coming off of the Cincinnati final and winning that over Paolini, of course, triumphed at Wimbledon as well with the double bagel at Love and Love over Amanda Anisimova, who Gil and Megan documented in action later on. The forehand missed by Arango. It's 15-love for Swiatek, who was 3 points away in a very quick 24 minutes. 6 consecutive points won by Iga Swiatek at 15-love from the ad side. Ball to the edge of Technic fiber racket, whips into the ball, blocked back by Arango as the backhand nailed to Iga's forehand, but first a miss by Arango. It's 30-love.
I see Arango, when she drives that backhand, she's been using her continental, that shake your hand grip, to defend on her backhand side. When she puts that left hand on and swings over the ball with topspin, I'm seeing a few errors pop in there.
Whacked into the net from Swiatek. I'm right there with you, Megan. 30-love. You're listening to a 5-1 opening set. Swiatek up the double break on Arango. And again, Iga, world number 2, 2022 U.S. Open champ, is serving for this opening set, but she misses. That's a double fault. Wailed into the opposite side service box. The point as a result to Arango at 30-15.
That's no problem. She's allowed to make errors.
Of course.
She's up 5-1 in the first set, not really feeling any threat at all. I imagine that she just bounced out of that double fault and keeps it moving.
3 doubles, Megan. First serve missing out wide double sally from Swiatek in her on gear. The black hat with pink stripes, white kit for Iga Swiatek today at 30-15. Strong take back. Mauls into the ball. Backhand missed return up the line by Arango. Multiple set points now for Swiatek, up 5-1 in the set, 40-15 in the game.
Arango, that's not it was a wild error, but I understand the thought process behind really trying to attack that second serve off of Iga's second serve.
And 40-15, backhand slice return Arango. Iga with an inside-out forehand, good. Arango meets the backhand, and a backhand up the line by Swiatek. Very clinical in the opening set with a lot of authority on that backhand winner. Takes it 6-1 over the Colombian Arango.
Pretty standard. Nothing that we wouldn't expect. Arango has really struggled maintaining her court positioning close to the baseline, which has allowed Iga to really control the points from a court positioning perspective.
And that's what I touched on during our breakfast show. How can Arango turn defense into offense? And right now she's letting Iga deal. She's too far back, Megan, to your point. I want to see her in the second set come inside the baseline more effectively. For an update on Armstrong and around the grounds, let's check in with Gil.
Yeah, Dave, let's start around the grounds. Denis Shapovalov, after taking the opening set against Martin Fucsovics, has gone up the early break in set 2. So now a set and 2 love for the Canadian, who is the number 27 seed. He has had a couple of good runs this year, including at the 500 in Dallas. He won that particular event. And Katie Boulter has actually gotten the break back early in the second against Marta Kostyuk. That's on grandstand. Kostyuk won the first set 6-4. It is 1-1 in the second. As for Armstrong, Giovanni Perricard has just held on to serve, but he's down the break in the second set. It is Musetti leading the second 4-2. He looks to even it at 1 set apiece, but oftentimes in a Perricard match, 1 break determines the set, and Musetti has that in hand right now.
What have you seen throughout this match? We were there calling the first set, but what's happening? What's the energy of the second set?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Megan, Musetti needs to have a massive advantage in the exchanges after the serve, because that's where Perricard blows everybody out of the water. He's got the best serve in the world. After that, that needs to be Musetti time. And in the opening set, particularly in the tiebreak, Musetti wasn't sharp enough off the ground to really build the advantage that he needed. So it looked like an underconfident Musetti. He's only 1-4 since making the semifinals at Roland Garros, getting injured against Carlos Alcaraz and retiring midway through that match. He's generally better on clay and grass than he is on hard court, and he hasn't been able to get things going. But what did we see early in the second? Perricard missed a bunch of first serves, and Musetti did well to capitalize on that opportunity to go up the break.
So, Musetti, at the end of the first set, wasn't feeling settled, but he really just rode the roller coaster, right? And was prepared to capitalize on some of those times where we know Perricard is not going to be able to maintain that level of play. And Musetti was right there waiting for it.
Musetti's such a seasoned veteran. At this point, he's played so many of these majors. Still young, but he's been around a while. And there's not going to be panic from him in best of 5. He knows how much time there is. Pass down the line by Musetti, and a beauty on the dead run from the back fence. That's the best shot we've seen all day, Megan.
Yowza! That was, he went from the ad side alley, the left side alley, ran all the way past. He's in the green beyond the deuce side alley on that right side, curves that ball around, and passes Perricard. And he looks up, he's almost rolling his eyes, upset about that fantastic passing shot down the line.
From that position, 99% of the time, Perricard wins the point. +1 forehand by Musetti, straight up the middle, draws the slice forehand wide from Perricard.
Perricard looks like he's a little stiff in his feet, not as buoyant out of his split step, prepared to move in any direction that he needs to go.
6'8" is the Frenchman. A lot of muscle on his bones as well. 40-15, first serve Musetti into the net. Second serve has been going directly at the Perricard backhand for the most part. This one goes at the forehand, driven hard by Perricard. Blocked back by Musetti. One-hander up the line, winner for Musetti. Great timing on that backhand down the line, and the shot making starting to percolate for the Italian. He sits down up 5-2 in the second set.
That is an incredibly hard shot to hit. Perricard drove that ball right at Musetti's left hip, and he hit an inside-out backhand winner, changing directions, super difficult to execute, and that was beautiful.
Inside Armstrong, it is the current world number 10, who got as high as number 6 in the world. Midway through this year, Lorenzo Musetti, good rebound performance after dropping the opening set in a tiebreak against a man in Giovanni Perricard, who he leads the overall head-to-head against. 2 love, including a best-of-5 at Wimbledon last year. A couple of quick service points for Perricard in this 2-5 game and a 30-love lead for the Frenchman.
It's at this point that Perricard really needs to focus on, you were about to say, first serve. Unfortunately, he missed it, but this is when he's best. He is at 97% points won when he puts that first serve in.
And the second serve is big as well. He hit that last one 126 to draw the outright service winner. And it's 40 love now in this game. Perricard made a lot of noise when he first came on tour. People couldn't believe it. Is that a second serve or is that 2 first serves? And sometimes it's hard to tell. Snaps down another ace right up the tee. That service game took about a minute for Perricard. Gets to 5-3. And now Musetti will serve for the second set. Only 26 minutes in to this second frame. And already we could be racing towards a conclusion.
Perricard, as he continues to advance throughout his career, I mean, he serves so well, but there are moments where he drops some of those first serves. And for him to recognize that quickly so he doesn't get broken, I think that's going to be important for him to focus on as he moves through his career.
Yeah, he's only at 55% first serves in the set and missed a lot in the 1-2 game when Musetti was able to get the first break of the match. But it is Musetti serving now. Second serve, Perricard backhand. Now he goes to his right for a forehand. Musetti changes direction. Swooping backhand by Perricard. Musetti hard inside out. Nice angle for the winner.
So Musetti's moving lights out. He's seeing the ball so fast. He's anticipating where Perricard is going to go. And he is lights out of his split step, dancing around, making sure he's in the right position to fire.
Musetti at 15 love, 3 points from snatching the second set. Serve into the net tape, going up the tee at Perricard's forehand. And now Perricard in brown shorts and neon pink shirt, blowing in the wind, an hour and 10 into this match. Forehand return miss hit and about 4 ball lengths long.
Perricard still really being aggressive with his split step and first step out of his return, trying to take the ball early, which he hasn't made a ton of them. So I want to see him explore, or his coaching team, Box, help him out. Try some different stances.
Chip return here finds the court. Musetti backhand down the line into the Cadillac logo, about halfway down the net. That makes it 30-15. To your point, Megan, Musetti, when he's had to hit a second serve, has won 16 of 19 points. That's a horrible number for the Perricard return. 30-15 point. Musetti slightly crouched at his waist as he bounces the ball, kicks in the first serve. Chip return, Perricard. Forehand hooked inside in Musetti. Now forehand cross court. Perricard forehand down the line. Musetti whips a forehand middle. Sliding forehand now middle. Perricard keeps his forehand with plenty of margin down the middle. Slice backhand Perricard finds the net. Musetti playing it safe throughout that rally, and he gets the error out of Pecci Perricard.
One thing Musetti has done unbelievably in this set, he's hit 10 winners to 2 unforced errors. That means he is at a +8 margin. He is playing within himself. He's not going for he's playing the right way. He's choosing the right shots at the right time and putting himself in a position to hit amazing shots.
Double set point Musetti. Good serve drilled down the tee. Backhand chip return flies way long for Pecci Perricard. It's a pump of the right fist for Lorenzo Musetti. He has evened this first round match on Armstrong. 1 set apiece. Took him just 29 minutes. 6-3 in the second. And we are all knotted up on Armstrong. When we come back on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express, we'll take you back to Ash, where Dave Leno and Megan Moulton-Levy will continue the call of Iga Swiatek against Emiliano Arango.
Welcome back to U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express. Dave Leno, Megan Moulton-Levy, and Gil Gross. In the second set inside Ash, Swiatek started with a break and was up 2-love. Arango just held. They just went to a changeover there. If you didn't hear the first set, Swiatek got an early double break. She won 6-1 in the opening set and is up the break 2-1 over Arango on Ash. While there's a changeover here, let's check in with Gil for updates from around the grounds. Hello, Gil.
Hello, Dave. Hello, Dave. On grandstand, Marta Kostyuk, the 27 seed, is up a set and a break again against Katie Boulter, the Brit. Kostyuk, a top 10 talent when she's at her best. Just looking to put things together, and that right wrist looking healthy after she gave a walkover to Swiatek in Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago. Looking good for Denis Shapovalov on Stadium 17. He's up a set and 4-1 over the Winston-Salem champion Marton Fucsovics. On court 5, the qualifier Maya Joint took the first set 6-4 over Victoria Jimenez-Kasanseva, but it is Jimenez-Kasanseva up in the second 5-3. Court 7, this is an upset on paper, but I don't think big tennis fans are going to be shocked to see that Matteo Arnaldi is up a set and 5-2 against the 19 seed from Argentina, Francisco Cerundolo. Arnaldi made the 4th round here 2 years ago. That was his big breakthrough. He made the 3rd round here last year, and he's always dangerous when he's at his best. Dave, back to you.
Gil, thank you very much. I'm curious how Shapo's going to do in that update you had over on grandstand in a tough matchup against Fucsovics, who seems like he does very well in the opening rounds at the U.S. Open. Shapo has battled injury. He came back last year at the U.S. Open, lost to Botic van de Janjloop. We'll see how he fares in that matchup. Beautiful updates, Gil. Thank you very much. We're inside Arthur Ashe Stadium. Swiatek up the set and the break over Emiliana Arango. If you're just tuning in, this is a player 24 years young from Colombia, ranked inside the top 85 on the WTA Tour. Swiatek Smacks the strings into the ball from her Technofiber racket. Has a serve +1 inside in Arango with the lob. The racket face open all the way. And an overhead detonated by Swiatek, who Megan controlled that whole point. She's up the set in the break in the fourth game, 15 all.
And it started with a unbelievable serve.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fastest serve that I've ever seen, but it curved around the court, forcing Arango to hit that return on the ad side from the right side of the court. She pulled her all the way over there.
Six-time Grand Slam champ Swiatek is using both sides of the box, Megan. She opens the court here. Second consecutive overhead because she went slider out wide due side. The outside was open, and it's another easy hit for Swiatek to end the point in a serve +1 at 30-15.
Dave, I love the fact that you talked about using both boxes. When I'm coaching, I encourage our players, both adult and children, new and old to the sport, to use all four of the boxes. There's a lot of court out there, and so often you find that players only use the back two boxes, but use it all. See what you can do.
She is painting the corners, Megan, to your point. Love it. Inside in forehand again. So we talk about patterns, right, Megan? That is now a point ended on a serve +1. 3 in a row by Swiatek, up 40-15, about to go up 3-1.
A lot of people talk about patterns, but once there's an organicness to the sport.
Yeah.
You can plan as much as you want, but the only time that you can really start to plan your points out is from the serve, which is what Swiatek has done such a good job of doing in this match.
Arango not comfortable in that service game from Swiatek. 3-1 Swiatek over Arango inside Arthur Ashe Stadium. Again, Swiatek up the set and the break. If you're just tuning in, this is day 3 coverage of U.S. Open Radio presented by American Express. Dave Leno, Megan Moulton-Levy, Gil Gross. I'm in the afternoon, just past 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Brian Clark, Patricia He will take you through the rest of the afternoon with Gil. The rest of the crew, talented voices, Robbie Ubha, Zena Garrison, David McPherson, Russ Thaler, Mike Cation, Sophie Amyuk. We have a fantastic crew. It's from first ball to last on the U.S. Open app, usopen.org, where you can watch us behind the scenes as well. On Sirius XM, channel 982 for this week. And then also on TuneIn Radio worldwide on the TuneIn app. Arango with a second serve, 5th game, second set. She's down the set and the break here. Swiatek, forehand. Sees a backhand this time from Iga. Arango's there with a forehand for her own. A backhand up the middle. Swiatek with a forehand. She twists the hip. She misses it, Megan, this time to Arango's left, closer on the outside. And a big smile from Arango up 30-love and down the break in the second.
It's great to see her smiling. You know, this is a moment. She's playing on Ashe. This is her first Grand Slam debut in the main draw at the U.S. Open on Arthur Ashe. She's enjoying the moment, which is amazing.
DC, she fell in qualies in the second round. She lost in the first round in Montreal to Eugenie Bouchard. Hits another winner there, Megan, to your point, 40-love.
That was the first time I've seen Arango hit a ball close to the baseline. Her feet, she's starting to find her footing and making sure that she's not playing too deep in the court.
Chance for a love hold here for Arango. First serve, nails into the middle of the net. Ball crew does collect inside Ashe against Swiatek. Captured the opening set 6-1. She's up the break here. Arango looking for the love hold, though, to make it 2-3 in the second. Swiatek with a backhand return. She scurries to her right in the open court. She has it on the deuce side. Arango using both sides of the court beautifully. Arango with a forehand right down the middle. Swiatek forehand inside in, missing. It's a love hold for the Colombian Arango. She's down 2-3 in the second, but that was a much-needed hold from Arango.
And what she did was she was getting closer to the baseline. She was holding her ground, shortening up her strokes, able to take the ball right off the rise and not give up too much real estate.
I continue to have my eyes on grandstand, Megan and Dave. Marta Kostyuk is looking for revenge on a very big match that these two played last year in the final of San Diego. That was when Katie Boulter won her first and only WTA title. And right now it's Marta Kostyuk in the driver's seat, an hour and 20 into that first round match. She's up a set in 4-3, about to serve and begin this 4-3 game.
On the women's side, 6 seeds have fallen, Gil, through 2 days of action. Again, the top was Keys yesterday. The 6, we saw Venus Williams also go down to Muchova, but it was great to see Venus very resilient to win that second set. A little bit later on our airwaves as well, we'll have Coco Gauff taking on Ayla Tomljanovic. Tabilo against Zverev. Amanda Anisimova against Kim Burrell from Australia. Greet Minin against Naomi Osaka, 2-time U.S. Open champ. A little bit later on Armstrong. Tommy Paul against Elmer Muller of Denmark. A lot of exciting action to come. Any of those matches stick out, Gil, in your eyes that you're going to watch very closely?
Well, Elmer Muller's a really interesting player. He's just burst onto the scene with great results at the challenger level this year, particularly on the clay. But he has one of the most special shots in tennis. That backhand, and he's not a big guy, is already one of the biggest backhands you will ever see. The forehand and the serve, not as muscular, but it's a very special shot. Although Tommy Paul will be ready. Those two played in the first round at Roland Garros. Tommy won that one, so there won't be any surprises for the American tonight.
All right, Gil, great stuff. Swiatek up the set in the break, 3-2 against Arango. First serve clobbers a little bit long. Swiatek serving, as Megan alluded to a little bit ago, on the shaded side. It's close to the service line on Swiatek's end. It's to the right of the chair, to be exact, inside ash on this 71-degree afternoon. It is beautiful today on day 3. Megan, I'll tell you, yesterday, temperature-wise, walking the grounds, is probably our hottest day of the 2025 U.S. Open, and I really feel like that affected the players out there.
Yeah, I think so as well. Quite a few of them, that can have an impact on your ability to not cramp, on your ability to feel sick, some heat illness, and particularly when you're battling nerves, those things just get magnified. And we saw that with Keys, we saw that Fonseca, we saw that with him. He was feeling sick out there. So yes, it's a little bit cooler today. Players can go the distance and help battle their nerves a little bit more if they're feeling it.
Temperatures aren't in the high 90s or 100s like we've seen in previous years by any means, folks, but in the high 80s yesterday. It felt a lot warmer than that. We had 2 retirements, one on each side of the tour. Sebi Korda, unfortunately, retired. Cam Norrie coming back to the U.S. Open from injury. The other, Parisas Diaz, retired day 1 action as well. 30-15 here. Swiatek up the set in the break. We're picking up the 6th game of the play-by-play in the second set inside ash. We'll get to Gil in a little bit for the update on Musetti, and a good one against Perricard. That's in the 3rd set right now. First serve misses a little bit from Swiatek. Will be a second serve for Iga. Swiatek goes back. Racket above her black on hat into the backhand of Arango. Backs up Iga on the ad side of the court. Big unit turn inside out forehand. Good from Arango. Swiatek with time. Goes to the forehand right down Broadway. Fought off about shoulder high by Arango. Swiatek again, a forehand. Plenty of topspin. Low part of that. Arango goes inside and back. And Iga on the run. Has it cross court with the backhand this time inside in. Fought off a forehand slice by Arango. Backhand missing. Middle of the court, Iga Swiatek got a little bit late, Megan stepping in. Credit Arango on that lengthy rally to get it to 30 all.
And Arango changing the look that Iga has to play. Iga's used to receiving flat balls that are coming at her. Arango used her continental grip, slid that ball low and slow up the middle of the court, forcing Swiatek to get under it with her backhand, and she wasn't able to clear the net, resulting in a miss right there.
Yep, 30 all now. Big moment, I get the sense, for Arango here, down the set and the break. 30 all point. These 30 all points are so pressured. A slider out wide, Arango gets it back. Iga with a sitter. Arango is there trying to pass. Swiatek with a backhand slice volley. Arango trying to pass with the backhand. Iga feathers it over the top of the net and goes in. Beautiful volley, cradling into the deuce side service box from Swiatek. Arango oh so close on the pass.
You don't see Iga coming in that much, but that was actually quite a difficult shot to execute. She hit that ball by her right knee and was able to take the pace, carve the back of the ball, and hit a drop shot winning volley.
She has only missed 1 net point to your terrific analysis, Megan. 8 of 9 on net points won. Has a winner there for Swiatek. Still up the break, 4-2 over Arango. That was like a Megan Moulton-Levy backhand there. Shoestring high with the left and a little slice in English. You got to get me on the courts to learn that. I know Gil can already do that volley. Me, Well, doesn't happen often.
That was one of my specialties.
I
if
see.
I may
That's,
say
that's
so
why I said
myself.
it. I know.
Don't bring me into this. I've got brick hands. I can hit 10 forehands inside out in a row, but I've got brick hands.
All right. Arango needs your resilient skill on court, though, because right now she's down the set and the break against Swiatek, who is 2 games away from moving into the second round and blast a forehand winner cross court at love 15.
One thing that Arango has done a little bit better throughout this set is she's found a way to find some depth when she's so far back in the court, and she's been able to keep her court positioning closer to the baseline, shorten up her strokes, absorb Iga's power, and send the ball deep, not allowing Iga to attack her. Now, she's got to be careful with these second serves, though, not serving it up right into Iga's powerful forehand.
That was the 12th forehand winner, by the way, for Iga Swiatek. Up the break and a backhand blasted up the line. Good. High part of the net for Arango, the Colombian. Down a set and a break, 15 all.
Every ball that I've seen Arango hit with her backhand side, coming over the ball, hitting topspin, has been down the line. I wonder if she struggles taking that left hand around the ball and getting it cross court.
Guys, an update and a final score from court 11. It is Susan Lemens of the Netherlands taking out Valerie Glosman of the United States. So for Lemens, she's played her best tennis in 2025, career high ranking just earlier this August of 58 in the world. She is a winner on court 11.
That is the first main draw appearance for Glosman, so I just want to give her a shout out of Bellevue, Washington. Gil, as you and Megan rightly know, that she plays her college tennis at Stanford. She's 18 years young, and we often talk about it, Megan. A lot of what I love is these players coming from the college system and transitioning to the tour, and here's a player that's doing it on both ends.
Me too. I played at William & Mary. A bunch of my comrades
Tribe,
did the same.
right?
That's right. It's really a pathway. I mean, and it's becoming a pathway for everyone across the world. I know Australia, the Australian Tennis Federation, has a complete team dedicated to providing that pathway to college, because not only do you get a free education, you get to do what you love, and a lot of these players are ending up right here on these screens playing in front of us with in years after their college career.
Another example later on in action today, Danielle Collins, right? We thought that she was going to retire after last year's U.S. Open. I know she's battled some health concerns, giving it a go again and doing very well in 2025. Started out at Florida, obviously had a terrific career at Virginia as well. So awesome to see Glosman get in there. Congrats, as Gil accurately documented, Susan Lemens, the 26-year-old from the Netherlands, into the second round of the U.S. Open. All right, so sticking with this matchup of Swiatek against Arango. Again, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Dave Leno, Megan Moulton-Levy, Gil Gross, and our entire crew. It is a deuce game. It is the 7th game of the second set. Here's where we're at if you're just catching us right now. Swiatek took the opening set 6-1. Arango serving down the break in the second at 2-4 to Swiatek. It is a deuce game. Forehand good, Arango, a sitter for Swiatek. She comes at Arango trying to pass. She cannot. You can hear her yell in disarray. It is a forehand pass, miss Arango, and a chance to break for Swiatek, Megan.
From 7 feet behind the court, trying to get the ball up and down around the net and find the feet. That's just a difficult geometry to play with for Arango.
Chance to break yet again for Iga. First one caterpillars off the top of the tape, falls on her side. Ball crew collects after one hop. Left hand's on top of the right for Iga Swiatek to break yet again with the backhand blasted out wide. Getting there, Arango, a sitter for Swiatek on the approach. Arango with the lob off the backhand wing, swinging forehand volley. Good. That is just too easy for the 2022 U.S. Open champ. Iga Swiatek now up a set and the double break over Arango. For an update on Grandstand, let's check in with Gil Gross.
Yeah, we've got Marta Kostyuk trying to break to win the match against Katie Boulter in the second set. Kostyuk took the first 6-4. It's 5-3 in the second. Backhand down the line from Boulter, draws the error on a sliding Kostyuk. The forehand slice goes into the bottom of the net. So now a game point for Boulter. Marta Kostyuk has had 5 match points in this Boulter service game and hasn't been able to close the deal yet, but of course still some cushion. A rematch of last year's San Diego final. Marta Kostyuk made a quarterfinal in Canada after struggling immensely for a couple of months. Great spot serve by Bolter, right up the tee, nestled into the corner, draws the error outright with the serve and holds for 5-4. So, Marta Kostyuk will serve for the match over on Grandstand. We'll take a break here on US Open Radio, presented by American Express.
Back inside Arthur Ashe Stadium, Swiatek up the set in the double break here over Arango. It is Iga right now serving for the match with a forehand up the line. It is good for Swiatek, Megan. She has been so superb this afternoon, 15-love.
I gotta tell you, she always has intense feet, but there was a notch up on just how low she got, how gritty she was with her split step, taking the right shots to make sure she's in position for every ball.
15-love blasted into the backhand of Arango with a good return. Swiatek's there, scurrying to her left in the midst of a 15-love point. Forehand missed Arango deep into the court, Megan.
Because Swiatek is getting in great position, she's able to use the energy from the court to her foot, to her core, and then bam, through the ball, just making that thing rip.
That is a juicy forehand. In fact, Megan, she's only dropped 2 first service points, Iga Swiatek, this afternoon at 30-love. Again, it's 6-1, 5-2 Swiatek. If you're just joining us on US Open Radio, presented by American Express, Dave Leno, Megan Moulton-Levy, Gil Gross, and our entire talented team, taking you from first ball to last. 30-love, a slider. Forehand slice by Arango. Transition to that with the backhand slice. Dropped to Swiatek. That was majestic and very nifty for the left side of her body and his match points.
That's a great display of when you play the point the right way, you create opportunities for you to come in and win the point off of a volley. A volley. What's a volley? It doesn't drop. You hit it right out of the air. Sometimes tough shots to play, but if you build the point well, it should be easy.
Swiatek on match point, rocks back, collides into the ball. A slider out wide. Arango is there. Swiatek takes the U-turn inside out for, and Arango jets to her right, has a lob attempt, falls into no man's land. Inside and forehand, good by Swiatek on match point. Arango scurries to her left. She has it. Swiatek with the sitter, tries to go behind Arango. It is a forehand volley missing by Swiatek. Arango saves match point number 1.
It looked like she was going to pull that off. A shoestring half volley, ball bounced right before she hit it. But I would have liked to see Iga get down with that ball, get eye height with the ball if she could have. But it's okay. She still has 2 more match points.
You're right. Up 6-1, 5-2, 40-15. 8th game of the second set. Match point number 2 for Swiatek. Rocks back, cradles forward, wails it out wide on a slider. Arango is there. A sitter, Swiatek inside and forehand. Too good. And a dominating performance by the 2022 U.S. Open champ Iga Swiatek. The 2 seed takes it 6-1, 6-2 over Emiliana Arango.
This is why tennis is an amazing sport. It adds 9.7 years to your life because you have to make decisions every time that ball comes over the net. You have to put yourself in the right position. And this is what Swiatek displayed at a high level today. Her ability to get in position and make the right decisions.
He goes into the second round here at the U.S. Open. Again, last won this title back in 2022. Just want to give some thoughts on Emiliana Arango and congratulate her, Megan, in her first U.S. Open main draw appearance. She didn't qualify here the last 2 years, and she finally gets a main draw in New York under her belt.
Look, it's tough for your first main draw match at U.S. Open to be on Arthur Ashe Stadium with all this noise, with all this flair, playing against the second seed in the tournament. I think she did all right. She did the best that she could. I saw her smiling out there at some moments, trying to enjoy every second of being out there on the crowd, but ego was just too much for her.
While we await the interview with Swiatek, let's check in on a good one on grandstand to Gil.
Match point number 6 for Marta Kostyuk on grandstand. Easy +1 forehand, short ball, point blank, puts it away into the ad corner. Marta Kostyuk gets through Katie Bolter in a revenge win after losing to her in the San Diego final last year. It is Kostyuk, the 27 seed, through to round 2. Back to you, Dave. We're getting ready to hear from Iga Swiatek.
Today, how did it feel out there?
Great. Yeah, thank you guys for coming. For sure, first matches aren't easy. You need to get used to the rhythm, and that's what I tried to do today. And for sure, it was a solid match, and I'm happy that I wasn't trying to overpower, but I was solid, and that's it.
I'm thinking back to 2022 and the amazing crowd that you had here. The Polish fans love to come out and support you. What is it like being back in New York City?
Yeah, I mean, Polish fans are kind of everywhere. It's super nice to feel the support always and feel them, they're coming kind of around the world to every place I play. So it's great, but I also really appreciate people that come from different countries because, I feel every year it's more. So, I just hope that they will enjoy my game.
Congratulations. We'll see you in the second round.
Thank you.
Iga Swiatek, everybody.
Well, props to Iga. I mentioned she only dropped a couple points off her first serve, Megan. That was Chris Budden of ESPN facilitating that interview. For Swiatek, what has been the metamorphosis in your eyes from Iga getting all these Grand Slam titles from a couple years ago, and how do you see her in 25, obviously winning Wimbledon as well this year?
I think, it's hard to maintain that #1 ranking in the world for a long time. We talked yesterday about we compare some of these players to the greats, like a Serena or Steffi Graf or whomever. For her to not let her, she wasn't winning everything for a stretch of time, right, but she's able to get back in there and show that she belongs here. That wasn't a fluke. It wasn't an accident. She can continue to win Grand Slams, and she said it. She wasn't trying to do too much. She recognized the moment. She recognized that she didn't have to overplay or do anything special, and she took care of business.
I remember the matchup last year that I watched with her and Jessica Pegula. What Pegula did against Swiatek, I'm curious how Swiatek overcomes that type of a matchup that Jessie has in her game this year in her run at the U.S. Open, and that's Jessie can get that one more ball back, right? Lengthen the rallies. She moves on the court really well. She's not going to be as deep as Emiliana Arango was into the court. So when Swiatek plays a player of the caliber like a Pegula a little bit later, curious to see how Iga will handle that.
Well, I think what she said in her after match speech was really she recognized what she had to do at that moment. On any given day, someone can show up differently, right? So whatever happened then may not be what happens now, and she has her eyeglasses on. She's watching. She's paying attention. She's aware to about what's happening.
All right, so Megan, excellent stuff on the call of that matchup of Swiatek and Arango. Gil Gross is on Armstrong, a good one that we started out our coverage on day 3. Musetti tilting with Perricard for the play-by-play. Let's go to the talented Gil Gross.
Absolutely. This has been a good one. On serve, Musetti up the break in the third set, 4-3. Just got that break in the last game at 3-all. Also want to update on Stadium 17 while we have a moment. Musetti getting ready to serve at 4-3. Denis Shapovalov, who I have always felt, Megan, tennis is better when Shapo's playing well. He's a fan favorite. Something about him is very magnetic for tennis fans, his play style, and he is up 2-0 on the Winston-Salem champion, Marton Fucsovics.
I mean, who doesn't love to be entertained? That's why people come out here in droves to watch some good tennis where there's an energetic connection between the player and the fan.
He's explosive, electric, all the things. 2 titles on the year for Shapovalov. Dallas and Los Cabos, both on hard court. But he hasn't done great at the majors, hasn't been past the second round. Hoping for better here at the U.S. Open. And it's looking good as far as the second round is concerned. Again, a 2-love lead on Marton Fucsovics. But now we turn our attention to Armstrong, where Musetti puts away a high forehand volley with Pecci Perricard scrambling on the back fence. Musetti up 30-love in this service game. And he is up 4-3 with the break in this third set.
And Musetti has only come into net 16 times against Pecci Perricard's 33, so half the amount of times. But when he comes in, he is very successful at 75% points won for this set.
30-love, abbreviated service motion. Musetti, flat T, ace for Musetti, who's holding up very well in the ace category against Pecci Perricard. That was Musetti's 10th, and the big Frenchman has 12. Pecci Perricard with one of the most impressive ace numbers of the season. Way back in January against Nick Kyrgios, he hit 36 aces in a 3-set match in Brisbane. Second serve for Musetti with cushion in this game at 40-love. Kicks it into the forehand. Perricard covers it into the net. And it's an easy hold for Musetti, who continues to have unbelievable success on his second serve. Now won 20 out of 23 points on that second delivery.
I got to go back to the 33 aces. I don't even know if I hit that many in my career.
36.
Sorry, 36 aces. Yep, no chance. I was lucky if I got one per year.
Jari has the record for this 2025 season. He hit 46 against Cam Norrie, 4th round of Wimbledon, but that was a 5-setter. Pecci Perricard has hit the most in a 3-set match, that Kyrgios clash in Brisbane. 15-love for Pecci Perricard after an unreturnable serve. Big +1 forehand, defended by Musetti on the backhand. Shank forehand by Pecci Perricard lands good for a winner.
I thought that was flying out, but he got that whole racket for free, right? So he chose to use the strings, the frame, and just enough of that frame caught that ball to spin it back into the court.
Big T serve, stretch return by Musetti, flies long. And this is kind of what we get in a Pecci Perricard match. A lot of quick holds, but one break was the difference for Musetti in the second set. And right now it could be the same in the third, with Musetti up 5-3. A let for Pecci Perricard on that first serve. Just over a minute in duration in this game so far. Another first, just long, going into the forehand hip of Musetti. Pecci Perricard rocks back for the second. It's big, chip return, stays low. Good forehand by Pecci Perricard, backhand volley. Cut cross court, passing shot, Musetti got it. On the backhand, he went cross court behind Pecci Perricard, who is covering down the line.
I haven't been tracking this, but every time I look over and I watch Musetti hit one of those blistering passing shots, it's when he's on the run to the backhand side. He's extremely creative and artistic in his ability to just flick that thing cross court or down the line going for a passing shot.
Serve and volley by Pecci Perricard. He lets it fly off past his left ear, and it goes long. Does the return from Musetti. So that is a hold to serve for Pecci Perricard at 15, but he has not been able to break Lorenzo Musetti. In fact, he hasn't mustered a break point, and it's Musetti serving for a 2-1 lead on Armstrong when we come back on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express. It was a slow start for Lorenzo Musetti, who has just one win since his Roland Garros semifinal. But since then, he's found a rhythm. He's looking for a third straight win over Pecci Perricard in the head-to-head. And he's serving at 5-4 in the third, looking to go up 2-1 against the big serving Frenchman, who is just 22 years old. He's the world number 37. Musetti's actually only 23. It just feels like Pecci Perricard has been around for a lot less time. In just his 7th main draw at a major, forehand rally cross court. Now Pecci Perricard goes middle. Musetti way on the back fence, loops a forehand, puts Pecci Perricard on the run. He burns rubber to that deuce side, and a backhand down the line from Pecci Perricard, very flat, sails just long.
So Pecci Perricard is running around his backhand to hit forehands, but really there's a limit to how much he can do. In that point, Pecci Perricard ran so far around the backhand that he was falling off to the ad side alley, the left side alley, those two strips off the side of the court, but opening up a shot for Musetti and just starting. Musetti was able to just run him from side to side because he made a bad choice of going for that forehand rather than just settling into hitting a backhand.
It's very important that you're able to do plenty of damage if you're going to drag yourself out of position. And on that last point, Pecci Perricard, with a forehand from the backhand side of the court, went inside in, untouchable for Musetti for a winner. And now it's 15-all in this Musetti service game at 5-4 in the third. Musetti has abbreviated his service motion. The first delivery goes T for an ace, and that's number 11 for Musetti.
Pecci Perricard didn't even move for that serve. It was so well disguised from Musetti. I want Pecci Perricard to pay attention to almost starting his split step right as Musetti is about to make contact with the serve so he can split and change directions at the right time.
30-15 point kicked first serve, misses for Musetti, who is winning 87% of his total serve points. Not just first serve, total serve points, 87%. Second serve, T. Pecci Perricard, forehand return middle, sliced by Musetti. Now a driven backhand, deep middle by Musetti. Goes to his right for a forehand. Perricard, forehand inside out. He sneaks in behind it, half volley into the net. Pecci Perricard tried to get sneaky and come in, but he had a tough volley at his shoelaces.
Tough volley is because Pecci Perricard kind of strolled in. Brian Clark was talking about pedestrian-type play, and he was walking into that approach shot, which ended up catching him right at the feet.
Double set point to take a 2-1 lead for Lorenzo Musetti, who had his best U.S. Open of his career last year, but only making the third round. He's been to 2 major semifinals. T-serve, and Pecci Perricard can only get the tip of the frame on the ball. It bounces before the net. And it is Lorenzo Musetti who has been spotless on serve through 3 sets against Giovanni Pecci Perricard, and now takes a 2-1 lead. As our coverage continues on this day 3, wrapping up first round action, I want to bring Dave Leno back. And Dave, you're looking at scores right now. What's catching your eye?
Well, right now, Gil, seeing that one, I'm watching Bublik against Cilic. That is just about to take place on Grandstand. I know we're all looking forward to that. The story there, 2014 Marin Cilic against a guy in Bublik who really struggles on North America hard courts, did not play in the hard courts this year, has won titles this year in 2025. That matchup about to get underway on Grandstand. Meanwhile, on Stadium 17, we shipped over to Denis Shapovalov, the 2020 U.S. Open quarterfinalist, 27 seed, up on Fucsovics, 2-0 in that one. Arnaldi, as you documented, girl, early on, up over Cerundolo. Cerundolo comes in, Gil, as the 19th seeded player. Arnaldi up 2 sets in that one. It's 3-all on serve in that match. One more, Golfan on serve against Quinton Halys. And then I do actually have to add a bonus one. In our Leno's Lock breakfast preview show, I did say Cardle, who went to the 4th round of Wimbledon. That was my upset over Haddad Maya on court number 12. Haddad Maya did win the first set, 6-3. It was answered by Cardle in the second. They're in a third set there, Megan and Gil, and I am certainly loving that. Seeing if that will be an upset over on court number 12. Lastly, 4 are in the books. Kostyuk won. Swiatek won 1 and 2 in her matchup that we called. Maya Joint in her main draw debut at the U.S. Open won her match 6-7. And then Lamens did defeat Glasman, who plays at Stanford, 4-2. Again, 4 matches in the books right now. All the seeded players have advanced.
And we are awaiting on Ash, great job, Dave, defending champion Jannik Sinner, who is on a 21-match win streak at slams on hard courts, having won the last 2 Australian Opens and last year's U.S. Open. He will be taking on Vit Kopriva inside Arthur Ashe after Iga Swiatek was a winner there earlier. At Wimbledon, it's a tradition to get the defending champion on court right away. Here at the U.S. Open, we've had to wait a couple of days to see Jannik Sinner. And it's going to be interesting to see how he looks physically, because he did have that virus in Cincinnati, Megan.
Look, when you have access to great doctors, we think that...
Oh, we're going to get Prim Siripipat now. She's with Vit Kopriva.
Mind responding to this first-time experience?
I mean, for sure grateful that I can step on this court and to share the court with Jannik, so really, really looking forward.
Speaking of sharing the court with Jannik, I know you've practiced together with him a few years back, but as you're preparing to compete against the world number 1, what is your mental approach heading into today?
I mean, of course, trying to do my best. Let's just focus on myself to do the best performance what I can, and let's see how it goes. I mean, I have some plan, and let's see how it works.
Vit, good luck out there.
Thank you.
Yep, so that's Kopriva coming in his first U.S. Open main draw appearance against world number 1, Jannik Sinner.
Jannik, a few days ago you mentioned you weren't 100% physically just yet. How are you feeling today?
I feel good. I feel recovered. Obviously, first round matches are never easy, so let's see what's coming, but hopefully it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, well, your title defense begins right now with this match. How do you remain focused on this match and not let your mind drift off into the future along with the expectations?
I feel like every tournament, you never know what's going to happen. So, we prepared ourselves in the best possible way. And, I'm just excited to go back on court, hopefully playing some good tennis.
Best of luck out there.
Thank you.
Excellent job by Prim Siripipat with both Sinner and Kopriva. Here's Blair Henley with the intros.
From Czechia, Vit Kopriva.
Kopriva missed out on qualifying 3 of the last 4 years, and in his first U.S. Open main draw, he turned pro in 2015, 28 years old, from the Czech Republic. Daunting task against the defending champ.
And from Italy, the defending U.S. Open champion, Jannik Sinner.
So Sinner coming off of the retirement down Love 5 to Alcaraz in Cincinnati in a full Nike kit and a red top, red shorts, red sneakers, and white cap, waving to the crowd on Ashe. 31-4 on tour. The massive win streak on hard courts, 21 straight, as Gil pointed out early on. Sinner, Kopriva coming up in a matter of moments. That's going to do it for me on this morning to the afternoon on U.S. Open Radio. Had a blast with Megan, Gil, our engineer, producer Jaime, and our entire crew. But please do not go anywhere. Coming up, working with Megan and Gil, the talented play-by-play voice of Brian Clark will take you through the Kopriva-Jannik Sinner match with the crew. This is U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express.
Tuesday afternoon, a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, and it is our first look at the 2024 U.S. Open champion here in 2025 on the men's side, and that man is Jannik Sinner, and he has been the man this year in the ATP, and we are seeing him for the first time. He's on court right now warming up for his match with Vit Kopriva from the Czech Republic. Sinner, the world number one, the top seed here, pretty much has done everything. Fresh off his Wimbledon title, he has won the U.S. Open last year. He won Australia this year. He's done it all, Megan. Only that heartbreak in Paris, the only blemish on his on-court resume this year. And here he is trying to get himself in gear for the first time in 2025 in Queens. How are you?
I'm awesome. Happy to be back with you, my friend.
Likewise, it was great to hear from Dave and Gil. We'll check in with Gil in a little bit. Patricia He will be on a bit later, but what we are focusing on right now is the match in front of us after Iga Swiatek took care of business, pretty straightforward fashion on Ash against her first-round opponent. Now it will be Jannik Sinner trying to do the same. The 24-year-old from northern Italy just turned 24 before the tournament, and what a year it's been for Sinner. 31-4. That includes a 12-1 record on hard courts this year. He has won 20 titles, and of course, he is the defending U.S. Open champion. 20 titles, of course, in his career, but he's reached the 20 mark. He's the defending U.S. Open champion. It's been a stellar year, and he takes the court against Kopriva for a new experience for the 28-year-old from the Czech Republic. And I think the Kopriva story is worth discussing. He's a guy, your classic climber, where it took him a while just to find his footing as a professional, to work his way up the rankings. Well, here he is. He's now into the top 100, got inside the top 80 for the first time earlier this summer, but he got direct entry into the U.S. Open. Here's your reward. It's Jannik Sinner, the defending champion, on Arthur Ashe Stadium, so there's all the pressure and butterflies that come with that, but it should be a fun afternoon.
Kopriva, I loved listening to him with Prem when he was interviewed in the hallway. He used the word grateful. That means, when you have to make that climb, sometimes, you appreciate how hard it's been to get there, and you have the right perspective as he goes on and plays on Arthur Ashe today against the number one player in the world.
Just getting you up to speed before we begin this match, the first meeting between these two from Italy and the Czech Republic. On Ashe before, as we said, Iga Swiatek beat Emiliana Arango of Colombia in straight sets. On the grandstands, Marta Kostyuk, a straight sets winner over Katie Bolter in the women's singles. Maya Joint, who's had a sensational year, leads the WTA in hard court match wins. Well, she bagged another one over Victoria Jimenez Kasintseva of Andorra in straight sets. That was on court 5. Also, Susan Lemens over the Stanford Cardinal player from Washington State, Valerie Glosman. That was a Lemens win out on court 11. Glosman, just 18 years old, from the United States. We're also watching some of the other matches in progress. Taking a look on Stadium 17, Denis Shapovalov is up 2-0 on Martin Fucsovics, who was just taking a medical timeout. And looks like Fucsovics is really struggling. It's 4-love for Shapovalov, the 27th seed, in the third set. That'll be followed by Danielle Collins and Jacqueline Christian of Romania, and then it'll be Felix Auger-Aliassime of Canada. So 2 Canadians in action on the men's side today on 17 against the lucky loser from Great Britain, Billie Harris, and then Katerina Siniakova against Paley Baptiste will close things out not before 6 p.m. on Stadium 17. But right now, the focus is in Arthur Ashe Stadium, and that is where the defending U.S. Open champion Jannik Sinner will begin his title defense. Jannik in a, let's call it clay-colored outfit. It's a good look, a polo shirt with clay-colored shorts. It almost looks like the dirt in Paris. A white hat and white socks to cap off the clay-colored sneakers, and Sinner stands in sunlight. Far baseline, and the 2024 champion begins his title defense with a serve out wide. Now backhand on the run from Kopriva, and Sinner opens in style, going around the net with a backhand winner.
I don't even know what to say about that shot, that movement, the everything. He gets there, he's low, he's balanced, being on the dead stretch. Well, he wasn't on the dead stretch because he got there so well. Just ripping a backhand around the net post for a winner.
Sinner has that white sleeve on his right arm, that compression sleeve, and from the far baseline, his toss comes right down the center and missed it a little bit wide. Last year, of course, he only dropped 2 sets en route to the title here when he beat Taylor Fritz in the final, beat him in 3 sets. It was a match where, Sinner played basically perfect tennis, and he did not blow Fritz off the court. Taylor had his opportunities, but Sinner did just such a good job of playing from in front, taking care of his own business, and then moving on from there to lift the U.S. Open title for the first time. Those players took sets off him last year, in case you were wondering. This could be relevant today. It was the first round when Mackenzie McDonald took a set, and then Daniil Medvedev in the quarterfinals. At 15 all, he nets that first serve. Couple of bounces, second serve into the center of the box. A forehand from Kopriva. Now another forehand inside out. Kopriva sends Sinner left. He has to move a lot for the first time and nets his backhand.
15-13.
Yeah, 2 feet behind the baseline, Sinner drove that ball, not giving it the proper net clearance given where he was on the court.
Sunlight certainly a factor today. It's, again, another warm day, but by no means hot, and it's really not humid. So it's a delightful day here in New York City. But the sun is a factor for these players to contend with. Drenching the court right now. Sinner's in the sunlight side. The near side of the court behind the baseline is in shadow. That's where Kopriva leans right, but Sinner's at net and cuts off with a backhand volley. Clinical net approach from Sinner for 30 all.
Totally. He was right there hitting a backhand volley slightly above shoulder height, but he had done such a good job pulling Kopriva off the court before he hit that passing shot, making it such an easy volley for Sinner to just finish the point.
30 all for Sinner. Playing the game at his pace, his tempo right now. And there's the toss and that serve. It goes out into the forehand of Kopriva. His return's wide. 40-30 for Sinner. Yeah, Sinner's in that rarefied air where you can spend all day just pulling out insane stats about the run he's on. He's won 21 consecutive matches on the hard courts at Grand Slam level. You've got to go back 2 years ago when he was beaten by Alexander Zverev in the 4th round here. Last time he lost a hard court match at the Grand Slam level. Body serve into the backhand middle. Now a forehand from Sinner's long, and it's deuce.
I think we all kind of toy with it, putting him in the ranks of the greats like Roger and Nadal, and he hasn't had that tenure yet. But I think the fact of the matter is that he is the greatest player playing at this moment.
Absolutely, and you look at those greats, the rarefied air. I mean, he's got some possibilities here to do things that they have not seen since then. Roger Federer was the last player to defend the U.S. Open title, and that's 2008. Nobody's defended the U.S. Open title since 2008. Of course, that was 5 in a row for Federer, which is a neat little run. At deuce, the body serve into the center of the box. Now a forehand cross. Forehand inside out is wide. And Kopriva missed it. Advantage Sinner.
That was a very, very strange miss from Kopriva, which gives me an inclination there may be some technical limitations on his forehand side. He either didn't get his feet around the forehand, or it could be difficult for him to change directions, going on a cross-court rally deuce to deuce and changing it to that ad side. We'll see.
Blocked back by Kopriva, and Sinner holds to begin the match. And I think we've got a final right now on Stadium 17. Denis Shapovalov, 6-love in the 3rd set over Marton Fucsovics, who looked to be really struggling. So Shapovalov through to the 2nd round. Jannik Sinner is on his way. He hopes to joining him, but Sinner's got a long way to go. And that was just the first game. That was a long first game, though, as Sinner finds his way through.
You were talking about his outfit earlier. I can't help but think about how Nike dressed him versus Alcaraz. Alcaraz's arms, the muscles are out. Sinner's, a lankier player, but those muscles aren't out.
I mean, I think the attention on Alcaraz has not been on the outfit. It's on the haircut.
What are you talking about? I didn't hear anything about that cut.
It was all we heard about. As Kopriva will serve for the first time in this match from the far baseline. Serve comes right down the center. Yeah, it was always Sinner, actually, who had gotten the attention on his hair just because he's a redhead. You don't see, the redheads in population always get a little extra attention. Second serve from Kopriva, let.
Second service.
Did you see the freeze image? There's all the robotic cameras in some of the player areas here at the U.S. Open. And there was an image, body serve into the Sinner backhand, and backhand middle from Sinner. Now Kopriva goes with his own backhand. They trade. Sinner goes inside out, trying to lengthen it a bit, but he missed wide. It's 15-love. And there's a shot of Frances Tiafoe with Carlos Alcaraz. This is yesterday afternoon before they both played. And the person, I saw this on social media, the person who froze the image, and Francis just has this look. He's looking at Carlos's hair, and he really looked shocked. Like, wow, you really did that. And then Francis, of course, was not too complimentary of the hair after the match when he was asked about it in his press conference.
Francis was touting himself as the haircut specialist, which, I really don't think it was that bad. Everybody needs a fresh look sometimes. You got to change it up.
That's a look. 15 all. As Kopriva double faults for 15 all.
Hey, Brian, I hear you have some breaking news in the pop world.
Yeah, apparently some fans who were at the U.S. Open last year have apparently announced their engagement. Remember that they saw Jannik Sinner did Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but I guess they've announced their engagement. I just got a lot of texts. I'm by no means a Swiftie or anything, a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, but I'm sure that will be the news of the day. Although, as we, only 18 minutes past 1 o'clock, and we have seen plenty of news over the last few days involving mostly photographers and haircuts here at the U.S. Open as we complete first-round play on this Tuesday, and Kopriva nets the backhand into the bottom of the net.
Are you sure you don't want to sing a Taylor Swift song on the radio?
I don't want to subject everybody to that. Most importantly, you.
Maybe you and the Coldplay Kiss Cam. You wouldn't be
oof.
caught dead in a situation like that, would you?
Well, for many reasons, no. Very, very happy domestic situation. At 15:30, here's Kopriva. As we talk about unpleasant experiences, that's what he's had through the first two of the first 3 points in his opening service game of this first-round match. It's Sinner from the center of the baseline with a forehand middle. Now an inside-in forehand from Sinner, stretching out Kopriva, who slid his forehand long, and Sinner's got 2 break chances.
15-14.
The real question for Sinner coming into this match was fitness-wise, just based on how he had to retire from the Cincinnati final against Carlos Alcaraz because of his illness. And that was just over a week ago with that Monday final in Cincinnati. But it was this virus that he had contracted, and he should be good to go here, and we're certainly seeing no ill effects of that in his first 9 minutes on court.
I come from a family of physicians, but I forgot my medical degree at home. I think viruses can just move through you quite quickly, so let's hope that that's all that there is for him this week.
And Kopriva struggling to serve. Another double fault, his second, gives an opening break to Jannik Sinner. And the world number 1 will now play from in front here in this opening set against Vit Kopriva.
Hope Kopriva can settle in, make a few balls, but obviously he just can't serve up Sinner easy balls in the middle of the court, but just find his footing, find a way to disturb Sinner's rhythm and see what he can do.
So here is Jannik Sinner now serving for the first time from the near baseline. He stands just in the sunlight. There's a lot of shadow right behind him here in Arthur Ashe Stadium. They trade cross court from the baseline. Kopriva misses long. 15 love for Sinner.
Kopriva is going deep up the middle of the court. Now, when you are in the deuce corner, right side corner, trying to go middle, the much longer part of the court is cross court. So he's missing those deep. He can shift his ball position and have more length on the court to swing out to.
30 love.
Plenty of width on that serve from Sinner. He got it out wide in the ad box, and Kopriva could not get it back in play. 30 love. Sinner 2 points away from 3 love in this opening set.
Kopriva has only played 18 matches this season on the tour level, whereas Sinner has played 35.
40 love.
Sinner has the match muscle ready. Kopriva not quite. So I'm hoping that he gives us a good show, some good tennis, something that we can, work with as we go through this match.
Sinner's first ace of the match brings up 40 love and a chance for 3 love here in the opening set on Ash. Toss from the world number 1, racket to ball, and serve just missed long. Three bounces for Sinner. Now the toss. And that serve, it goes deep into the backhand of Kopriva. That misses long. Kopriva unable to lock it in. No such problems for Jannik Sinner here in Ash. What's going on next door at Armstrong? Gil Gross has an update.
I do, Brian. Giovanni Pecci Perricard right now serving down love 30 at 2-all in the fourth. He actually had to fend off break points in his second service game of this set as well. So what we've seen since the first set is Musetti continuing to apply the majority of the pressure. He's created 7 break chances in this match. Pecci Perricard has generated none. And the formula for Musetti: block return, just get it in play, scramble and defend from there. And the shot making since the first set, which he dropped, has been very impressive from the Italian number 10 seed. I'll keep you posted. Right now 15:30 in this game, but we're going to take a break on US Open Radio, presented by American Express.
Tuesday afternoon, day 3 of the first round, their first ever Sunday singles start at the U.S. Open, giving us this 3-day first round. We'll complete it today, and Jannik Sinner hopes it will end with him in the second round of the U.S. Open. He's had no problem getting out of the first rounds of majors in more than 4 years. Got to go back to Wimbledon 2021 for the last time he was beaten in the first round of a major. And Sinner is showing no quarter so far to Vit Kopriva from the Czech Republic. Up 3-love. He's broken Kopriva once, and now he's got the first point on Kopriva's serve here in this fourth game.
I talk a lot about movement, and what Sinner does so well is right before his opponent strikes the ball, he stops and split steps. So by the time the ball's coming off of his opponent's racket, he's already moving in the direction. So it looks like he has this unbelievable movement, which he does, but he sees the ball so early, which allows him to anticipate where the ball is going to go and get his body in position.
Now he turns it up with a big backhand, and unable to do anything with it was Kopriva. How can he do, what makes him able to do that and react so early with that split step especially?
It's timing. You really have to pay attention to what your opponent is doing. A lot of players get consumed in what they have done or their shot without paying attention to, okay, this is when they're about to start to hit the ball. And as they start their swing, you got to stop, pause, land, and go.
First serve misses long from Kopriva. Second serve here at love 30. Kopriva looks across the net. He's really struggled, and those struggles exemplified in these double faults. That's 3, and that's 3 break points for Sinner. I think we've got a break next door on Armstrong, right, Gil?
Yeah, it's a third break of serve in the match for Lorenzo Musetti. A chip return into the middle of the court and a forehand unforced error by Pecci Perricard, who's used to getting a couple of free points every service game. He's not getting that today against Musetti, with great block returning from the Italian.
Thanks, Gil. And Kopriva missed at first serve. He's only gotten 2 of 8 first serves into play. He's only won 1 point on 8 service points, and now another double fault. That's 4, and this is a tough afternoon for Vit Kopriva. Jannik Sinner in front 4-love here in this opening set. And you can hear Kopriva speaking with his team courtside. And it's exactly what you said a while ago, Megan, that you just hope that he gets himself comfortable and gets himself, his legs under him on Ash, U.S. Open, world number 1 on the other side. And it looks like the moment right now has gotten to him.
The legs are one thing, but also the liveliness of his arm. 2 double faults, just slow racket head speed through the ball. He's looking a little stiff you know, and he's got to be free. This is a moment where he wants to enjoy. He talked about gratitude in his on-court interview before he went out there. Just enjoy the moment. Let it out.
Love 15.
Sinner just missed that forehand. It's love 15. A cool story with Kopriva. He actually grew up a couple of blocks away from Petra Kvitova and was coached early on by her father first, because when Petra left, Petra obviously a few years older, her father wanted to coach somebody else. So here's Vit Kopriva. And then when her father got a little older, didn't want to travel as much, Petra's brother stepped in. So it's a really cool family connection. Of course, Petra Kvitova honored yesterday here at the U.S. Open. She retired from professional tennis, one of the fan favorites over the last decade and a half. Nice backhand return from Kopriva. Gets him back into the point, and then he goes big with a forehand, but that was wide up the left side.
We were talking earlier in our breakfast club about Petra and what she means to the Czech community and how, you know, she inspired Kopriva to be playing. And that's a family endeavor, really, protecting the tennis greats of the country. That's a pretty amazing thing.
And the cool thing about that, especially from the Czech perspective, is that similar story. There are echoes of it in so many other relationships with some of the Czech players that have come before. Certainly Martina Navratilova, the most famous. And just the success the Czech players, men's and women's, have had. Singles, doubles, men, women. It's really cool for such a small country.
They care, and they come along as a group. So that's when you know you have a great development program. It doesn't need to be official or structured, but when tennis matters in a country, you're going to see great players come out of that country.
Sinner misses long. And maybe the best example of that is Barbora Krejcikova, who is an excellent doubles player. She's been one of the world in doubles, and you know, she was growing up, and she went to Jana Novotna's house and said, I want to play singles, and the late Jana Novotna. So when Krejcikova won Wimbledon last year, the emotion just poured out of her thinking of Jana Novotna and the belief that she gave her that she could get it done, not just in doubles, but in singles.
This is why it's so important to have representation. We're honoring Althea Gibson during this U.S. Open, 75th year of her breaking barriers. I had my daughter here on Tuesday, and she saw Althea scrolling across the back screen of Arthur Ashe, and she said, Mama, I want to be just like her. So having someone amazing, playing, giving back, uplifting tennis for the whole country, that matters.
Absolutely, and that's universal across every country. Here in Arthur Ashe Stadium, it's Jannik Sinner with a deep forehand from the far baseline. It's 40-30. He's looking to go up 5-love. He's in at net now and cuts it off with a forehand volley. It is all Sinner in this first set. Just 19 minutes to rip through these first 5 games against Vit Kopriva. We'll be back on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express. Speaking a few moments ago about representation, this is the first time ever 2 Italian men have been seated in the top 10 in singles at the U.S. Open. Jannik Sinner, of course, here in Arthur Ashe Stadium, up 5-love on Vit Kopriva. And then right next door on Armstrong, Lorenzo Musetti, the 10th seed, is up 2-1 and 4-3 on Giovanni Perricard. on Armstrong. So it's a bumper time for Italian men's tennis. And here is Vit Kopriva trying to get on the scoreboard and avoid an opening set bagel. Short return from Sinner, who now injects pace with a forehand, moves to his left to take a backhand, play it short. Kopriva inside in forehand, by far his best shot of the match, a winner from the service line, 15-love.
So when thinking about technical for players, either beginning or you're old to the sport, there's path, your swing path, your swing speed. Those really determine what you're able to do with the ball. Swing, angle, and path.
So plenty of support from Brazilian fans yesterday for João Fonseca. Also plenty today on court 12 for Bia Haddad Maia, the 18th seed on the women's side. She's through in 3 sets over Soné Cartel of Britain with that great run at Wimbledon. Kopriva misses the backhand long.
15-all.
Coin toss is just taking place out on Stadium 17. Second match there. Danielle Collins of the United States against Jacqueline Christian of Romania. It's after Denis Shapovalov beat Martin Fucsovics in straight sets. Fucsovics looked to be pretty hampered physically. Mentioned a few moments ago, 2021 Wimbledon, the last time Sinner was beaten in the first round at a major. It was Fucsovics who beat him that day.
30-15.
But it has been nothing but ascendancy since for the world number 1. 30-15, though, for Kopriva, who tries to get on the board after Sinner missed that forehand long.
Just like to see Kopriva taking care of his first serve, starting the point out right, planning where he's going to hit that serve, and being prepared for the next ball to come back.
Toss from Kopriva into the center of the box. The backhand cross from Sinner. Backhand down the line. Kopriva short forehand. Center of the baseline. Sinner, who moves left for a backhand. Too much pace he put on that ball. 40-15. Chance for Kopriva to put himself on the scoreboard. Here's a guy who had won just 1 point on serve entering this game. Much better stuff here from Vit Kopriva.
Seeing some liveliness out of his legs. Wider split step, more explosive out of the split step, and getting to the ball a little bit faster.
Kopriva missed that first serve. The double fault's a big problem. He had a few of them in his last service game. That was the second time he was broken. And he double faults here. It's 40-30.
40-13.
Second serve should clear the net by about 6 feet. You want that ball to travel like a big arc over the net, 6 feet over, and come diving back. A double fault in the net is not really what you want to see. Maybe long, you want to see more errors like that, but not in the net.
Here's Kopriva off the far baseline. Sunny day at Ash, right into the center of the box. Off forehand from Sinner. Now a forehand short from Sinner. Hit the net cord and drops over. He holds the left hand up to apologize, as if Sinner needs any more help. He got a big assist there from that pretty tight net cord.
So I want to go back to a point that I was making earlier, Brian. I was jumbled in my speech, and what I really meant was path, angle, and speed. That's what you need with your racket head, depending upon where you want to hit. But Kopriva, what I'm finding is that the angle that he hits his forehand, it's going to be difficult for him to go down the line because he's a wrap hitter. He gets around the outside of the ball and isn't able to hit the back of the ball, and makes it difficult to change directions, but he just told me to stop talking because he just did it brilliantly.
And he crushed that forehand for a winner down the line. Just his second winner of the match. He's got 10 unforced errors. Nerves certainly played a part in the early part of this opening set. But Kopriva got a pretty aggressive grip as well.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I've been talking about grips today, and there's so many ways that you can hold a racket depending upon what you want to do with it. But that may be a limitation for him because he's in a Western grip. He could probably hit the ball with his palm of his racket, with the palm of his hand facing the net as he makes contact.
And he's on the board. Crowd like that here in Ash.
By 5 games to 1. First set.
They just want to see some good tennis.
Yeah. And I think they want, there's that empathy element for somebody like Vit Kopriva. I would imagine most people in the crowd probably have never heard of him until he took the court today at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Of course, the week in, week out tour followers would have, but the average person who's come out to have a good time at the U.S. Open. They might not have heard of the world number 89. But seeing him settle down would be a big lift.
So, JTCC, we have a few players. Junior tennis champion Sinner out of College Park, Maryland, where I'm the vice president. We have a few players playing. And one of them, her name is Aryna Akli. She was in the qualifier. Didn't come through, but I'm very close with her, and I texted her, just go out there and put a good show on, because ultimately that may help you play. And I hope someone's able to give Kopriva the same information, because he doesn't have to play brilliantly, but give himself a chance to get into this match. Let the crowd help him along, because they want to see him do well.
30 love here for Sinner, who's up 5-1, 26 minutes into this opening set. Right up the center goes Sinner, hanging backhand return. Kopriva, Sinner flattens it out with a backhand, sliding backhand slice. Kopriva, what a pick up. Sinner running cross-court forehand, backhand dropped off from Sinner. Kopriva slides to it, but the point of the match so far goes to Jannik Sinner.
Sinner did an excellent job of not overhitting, not going for a winner, but slowly yanking Kopriva around the court and creating an opportunity for him to just hit a little backhand reflex volley cross court, making Kopriva stretch and not able to get that ball over the net.
Second serve coming here from Sinner. And that second serve, it's into the center of the box. Very deep. Kopriva with the backhand return. Backhand middle from Sinner. Short forehand Kopriva. Backhand middle from Sinner, who moves left for a backhand. Catches the inside of the baseline. Now a forehand Kopriva. Forehand Sinner. Inside out backhand from Kopriva. Sinner chips a forehand. Now a backhand. Oh, a little crafty drop shot that I don't think Kopriva hit the way he wanted to, but it worked because he got it close enough to the sideline. That was the longest rally of the match at 15 shots, and it's 40-15.
Kopriva took that slice and hit the inside of the ball. So when that ball bounced inside the service line, it curled going to the left-hand side.
40-15. It's a second set point for Jannik Sinner here after 27 minutes in the opening set. Vit Kopriva, though, playing much better as this set has gone on. He's looking a lot more comfortable on court. Toss comes right down the center, and the serve is blocked with the backhand. Sinner at the service line on set point. He follows it in with a forehand volley. Sits up for Kopriva to go forehand. A pass, a winner down the line to save another set point.
What's interesting about Kopriva, when he takes that forehand down the line, if he's stretched and wrapping that ball around the outside, getting his hand around the outside of the ball, that's when he is more successful with that forehand side going down the line.
Lorenzo Musetti has a match point on Armstrong. Here it's a third set point for his compatriot Jannik Sinner. Sinner and Ash, Musetti and Armstrong against Giovanni Perricard. Sinner's toss goes up, and that serve is well long. He's ready for that second serve. Sends it out wide into the backhand down the right sideline from Kopriva. It's set point 3 for Sinner, who now steps into the court with a backhand middle. Backhand cross from Kopriva. Backhand cross Sinner on the outside. Backhand just floats over the net. Kopriva. Sinner tried to inject pace, but missed the backhand. It's deuce.
Kopriva's playing through the middle of the court, middle third. He's not overexposing himself to too much risk and going for too many lines.
Lorenzo Musetti has closed the book on Giovanni Perricard, 6-7, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4 for Musetti, the 10th seed. He's into the second round of the U.S. Open. We'll hopefully hear from Lorenzo Musetti a bit later. Back here in Ash. Can you call this a lull for Sinner? Is this his first lull of the match?
I think Kopriva's just finding his footing. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be challenged just a little bit.
Yeah,
but, we got to see something.
It's the first passage of play where Sinner has not been able to do whatever he wants, unchallenged. Well, right there, an ace was not challenged from Sinner. That's his third of this opening set. It brings up a fourth set point.
There was sweat dripping from Sinner's head, either from his head or his hat, but I see drops of sweat falling to the ground.
Yeah, on his chin as well. You can see a beading there. First serve into net from Sinner. That first serve has been an issue over the last few minutes. Second serve deep into the box. A backhand from Kopriva. Now forehand inside in Sinner. A running cross-court forehand Kopriva on set point for Sinner. Inside out forehand into the backhand middle from Sinner. Backhand Kopriva. Center of the baseline. Backhand slice now Kopriva. Sinner runs around to play a forehand. Backhand down the line. A stretch forehand from Sinner. Inside out forehand long from Kopriva. 30 minutes and the first set goes to Jannik Sinner. His title defense begins in almost perfect fashion. Vit Kopriva played a lot better as that set went on, but Jannik Sinner just too good. He takes it 6-1 in 30 minutes on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express. Brian Clark back with Megan Moulton-Levy on this Tuesday at the U.S. Open, day 3 of first-round play here in 2025. One winner already here in Arthur Ashe Stadium today. That is Iga Swiatek, the reigning Wimbledon champion on the women's side. Now the reigning Wimbledon champion on the men's side is trying to join her in the second round. Jannik Sinner is up a set over Vit Kopriva, the player that Swiatek beat handily in the Wimbledon final. Amanda Anisimova, she'll be on court shortly in Louis Armstrong Stadium. The 8th seed from the United States will play Australia's Kim Burrell after Lorenzo Musetti was a 4-set winner over Giovanni Perricard.
This match so far for Kopriva has been just about managing his errors. He's won 4 points only off of winners and 12 lost points off of unforced errors. Against a player like Sinner, that's just not going to work out.
And the serve problems don't appear to be a first set remnant, because he missed that first serve and then the second serve a let call. So now he's got to play another under pressure serve, and the toss serve comes down the center. The backhand from Sinner, and trying to go cross court with the backhand from the center of the baseline. Kopriva found the net instead. It's love 15.
Talked about path, angle, and speed earlier. He really has to pick up his racketed speed off of that second serve, so he's able to clear the net and then have enough topspin on that second serve to bring the ball back into the court.
Love 15 for Kopriva from the near baseline up the center. Another let. Another match we're keeping an eye on is on the grandstand. The 2014 men's champion, Marin Cilic. He's not really playing week in, week out now, but this is an interesting first-round matchup with the 23rd seed Alexander Bublik of Kazakhstan. Serve out wide. A well-placed serve, one of the best we've seen from Kopriva, and Sinner couldn't get it back. It's 15-all. It's interesting because Cilic has enjoyed a lot of success, obviously winning the title here, and you would think this is a breeze for Bublik. Take a guess when the last time Bublik played a hard-court match at the tour level. And this is somebody I'm saying has had a very good year. He is right up there. 3 men this year have won at least 3 titles on tour. Carlos Alcaraz, Luciano Dartari, and Alexander Bublik. So that's a successful year.
Don't take me back to January.
It's a little later than that,
Okay.
fortunately.
Okay, good. Maybe March.
Yeah,
The
Miami.
March swing. Yeah.
Miami. He has played red-hot tennis, but just on grass clay. Since the start of Roland Garros, he's 17-2, and he's got 3 titles in that stretch, including Halle on grass, where he beat Jannik Sinner.
I speak the calendar in months because you know there are these stretches where these players travel around in a pack from continent to continent, country to country. So January, I'm talking about the Australian Open, that down under swing.
And there are, kind of diverging paths players can take after the grass season. Well, some players can also just say, what grass season? And you can really stay on clay for a while, which makes a lot of sense for players who that's their specialty. As Sinner's got 2 break points here. So Roland Garros, he played some grass events, did Bublik. He won the title in Halle, beating Sinner. And then after Wimbledon, you can really just stay on clay, and you can make your U.S. Open lead-in essentially as hard, no pun intended, as you want to be. And you can stay on clay and play in Europe and enjoy summer in Europe, which it seems like Bublik did when he won titles in Gstaad and Kitzbühel on the dirt.
But then you got a question, are you prepared to come out here and play slightly differently? You can't be dropping back so deep in the court. The points are a little bit faster, and he has to be prepared to make that change.
And the conditions, of course, in terms of the heat, the humidity. You get more of a tune-up for that, you would think, in Washington or Cincinnati. That was how Bublik decided to make his schedule. We'll see what it means for him in this U.S. Open, and so far it hasn't hurt him in the first set. He just won at 6-4 over Marin Cilic. Nothing's hurt Jannik Sinner so far in this match after an opening break to Vit Kopriva. Sinner missed that first serve, or a let called on that serve.
Fun fact, in junior ITF, International Tennis Federation tournaments, they play lets. So if the serve hits the net and goes in the box, the returner has to be ready to play that ball.
15 love.
Yeah, that's, I think back to World Team Tennis played lets, and some of the other different formats. They've experimented playing with lets. Nice serve +1 for Sinner for 15 love here. Second game of the second set. Sinner took the first 6-1 in exactly half an hour. Sinner's toss on that serve. It comes down the center. Kopriva tried to inside in the forehand, but the serve was a bit long. Another good serve into the backhand. Backhand middle return from Kopriva. Now a forehand short Kopriva. Backhand flattened out by Sinner, who backs up from one knee, plays a forehand middle, moves to his right, nets across court forehand. It's 15-all.
Sinner drove that ball. He was maybe two or 3 feet behind the baseline and didn't send that ball with a high enough trajectory over the net and couldn't clear that forehand cross court. Trying to hit it over the lowest part of the net, but wasn't able to get enough underneath the ball to get it above the net.
Alexei Popyrin won the first set over Emil Ruusuvuori of Finland, and he's up a break at 2-1 in the second. That's on court 5. Popyrin, one of the more dangerous unseeded players you could see. Cool. Jannik Sinner seems to have things under control here, but let's check on Armstrong. Gil Gross is with another Italian, Lorenzo Musetti.
Yeah, I'm here with Lorenzo Musetti, winner in 4 sets over Giovanni Perricard on Armstrong. Lorenzo, facing a guy who has probably the best serve on the ATP Tour, are you proud of how many returns you were able to make back in play today?
Yeah, definitely, yes. He started to play really well, especially from the baseline. So it was, he's a huge problem when he plays so well, especially with the forehand, because he's his weapon after the serve. And I think the first set, especially, he has really a few unfortunate errors. So that's why it was so tough to break him. But then I started, to find more the rhythm, especially on the rallies. And really happy because it's a super tricky opponent, and I had to be really careful with him.
I know you've been working on the serve a bit. Have you made technical changes to that shot recently?
Yeah, actually I changed during Cincinnati because I lost my singles match against Bonzi, and I didn't feel quite, okay with my motion. and I felt that my toss was getting too much in the front, and I was losing too much percentage on, especially on the first serve. So we try, to stick more simple as possible. And right now I'm not moving my feet. Before I was trying to, with the weight and then try to transfer, up. But I was leaning too much forward. So that was just a little adjustment, but it makes a lot of difference because I think today I served pretty well.
And all of that is in the preparation before you toss the ball. That's where all the changes are?
Especially on the feet. On the feet, that's what it changed. I don't move anymore the feet, and I just lean on my knees and try to push hard, going up, and try to reach the ball as high as I can. And definitely it's changing, and it's really working. So really helpful, I think, the way that we worked on that serve.
Really appreciate the insights, Lorenzo. Good luck moving forward.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
It's really cool to hear that kind of technical breakdown from Lorenzo Musetti that he gave Gil Gross.
And amazing to hear that they made that change in Cincinnati. Like, this is what I love, when players are open and just prepared to make quick adjustments to make sure that they're performing at the highest level possible.
Yeah, he said it was that loss to Benjamin Bonzi. He just didn't like, the way he felt in terms of his motion, and what a way that was. Well, Vit Kopriva's on the board here in this second set. He's down a break to Jannik Sinner. Sinner is up a set and 2-1, but Kopriva with that 109-mile-an-hour serve has already delivered 2 aces in this second set.
Kopriva's coming alive. It's not, he's trying to find his footing and make sure that he's competing better in the set. He's only had 3 winners, 5 unforced errors for this set, which is remarkably better than the tail end of that first set.
We're talking, I'm sure it's Sinner saying something to the chair umpire, not sure what. We were talking about Alexei Popyrin and Emil Ruusuvuori. We're keeping an eye on that match because the winner of that match will play the winner of this match. Sinner-Popyrin second-round match at a major. That seems pretty good. Denis Shapovalov already a winner today on the men's side, just looking top to bottom from the draw. He's a potential third-round opponent for Jannik Sinner. Lorenzo Musetti a winner. He'll play the winner of the match that's on right now between Quentin Alice of France and the veteran David Goffin. And it's Alice who won the first set in a tiebreak on court 11. They're just underway in the second set. So far, Shapovalov and Musetti, the only men's winners completed today. As we move towards 2 o'clock here in New York City on this gorgeous Tuesday. It's great to have you with us on US Open Radio, presented by American Express. I'm Brian Clark with Megan Moulton-Levy. Heard from Gil Gross all afternoon. We'll have Patricia He stop by a bit later. Actually, a bit later. She'll be here in a few minutes, and Megan will be abandoning ship for the afternoon.
Wow.
Megan's very busy, obviously, with her USTA commitments, her JTCC commitments. It's just great that we can get a small sliver of her day.
This is my favorite place to be every day.
Great. Backhand into net from Sinner.
Love 15.
And it's love 15.
After this, Brian, I'm going to a women's coaches discussion. I'll be in a room with Billie Jean King and Stacey Allister and some other greats of the sport, just really trying to make sure that there are enough female tennis players with USTA coaching really getting in the game and making sure that we have the best coaches in the country so that we can continue to grow this amazing sport.
That's fantastic to hear, and as these two trade big forehands from the center of the baseline. Now it's Kopriva backing up into a Sinner backhand. That catches the inside of the baseline to Sinner. Another deep forehand. Sinner keeping it plenty deep on Kopriva, who plays a forehand off his back foot. Sinner takes that off the net court. It drops, but right into the strike zone of Kopriva. He doesn't squander that chance. Puts it away. He's got a chance here. It's love 30.
But that's where he's best. Taking that forehand on the right side and going back to the deuce side. On that, right across his body, just swinging through. That's where he's going to really shine.
So what needs to happen to ensure there are enough women coaches and the resources are there in terms of women in coaching and just to support the players?
Well, that's what we're going to go explore. What can we do? You know, it's coaching is a grueling job. I mean, it's quite complex. You got to be able to manage players' emotions, manage their parents, manage them, be able to actually then give good advice. It's a complex thing to do. You need a bunch of different skills. But how to get more women? I think for me, you know, I'm in a decision-making place at JTCC, so I get to decide who's hired and who's not. And I want to hold out my best spots. So sometimes we wait. We're understaffed because I want to find good female coaches.
15:30 here for Sinner. That serve missed wide. Now the second serve. It's down into the center of the box. A deep middle forehand from Kopriva, who moves to his right with a forehand, hits the net cord right into Sinner's forehand. Forehand from Kopriva is long, and it's 30-all.
30-all.
Is that down the line, forehand error, not able to get around the ball and swing up and down into that path when he's going down the line. For Kopriva is going to struggle with that forehand down the line.
Jacqueline Christian has just broken Danielle Collins for 3-2 in the opening set on Stadium 17. Here's Sinner at 30-all. It's 2-1. He's up a set here on Arthur Ashe Stadium, and sliding was Vit Kopriva, whose backhand was a bit short of everything. 40-30 for Sinner.
Sinner's doing an awesome job of stretching Kopriva out of the court, in the green, beyond the alley, and then sneaking in. He's always at net for that next ball.
Sinner was bouncing away and then stopped. There was something he had to adjust on either his racket grip or his hand, his right hand. And now he's ready. 24-year-old looks across the net. Hammers down the center. It's blocked back by a leaning Kopriva, and Sinner was able to back up and watch it drop long. Sinner holds for 3-1.
Sinner leads by 3-1.
And he just signaled towards the chair umpire with a scissor gesture. I think he's got something on some part of his racket or wristband that he just wants to snip off at the next changeover.
Players are very particular about their equipment. They want things to feel just right.
Swiss qualifier Leandro Reedy, I'm sorry. Took the first set over Pedro Martinez of Spain. Reedy is seeking his first ever match win in the main draw of a major. Played Wimbledon earlier this summer. Oh, backhand return, almost a beauty from Sinner, but it was just wide. 15 love for Kopriva.
Just being aggressive. Not a bad thing to do.
Sinner twirls that racket. He's crouched low. He's ready to receive serve here. 15 love for Kopriva. 1-3. Misses that serve. The double faults were plentiful in that opening set, especially in the middle of the set when it looked like Kopriva was in real danger of getting bageled. He'd had 4 double faults going into that final service game, but he was able to hold serve. He has double faulted once so far here in the second. He's got 6 in total on the afternoon. Forehand from Kopriva, moves to his right. Now a forehand middle from Sinner. Forehand from Kopriva, backhand cross Sinner, backhand cross into net. Kopriva, 15-all.
Kopriva on that backhand, the last shot that he hit, he didn't extend his left hand all the way through the shot, which would give it the necessary oomph to get that ball over the net and have some depth. So he cut the shot off, which resulted in a net error.
Sinner puffs out the cheeks as he exhales, now hops in place. The world #1 tugs at his white cap. He's on the far baseline, well behind the far baseline to receive serve, and that serve misses long. Amanda Anisimova and Kimberly Birrell, they're just taking the court in Louis Armstrong Stadium for their first round match. Backhand middle from Kopriva is a short one. Sinner's forehand into the backhand from Kopriva. Kopriva off the back foot, plays a backhand from the baseline, backhand down the right side. Sinner glides to his right and whips across court forehand for a winner in 30-15.
One thing that Kopriva is doing better, going back to that path angle speed, he's swinging out a little bit more on his second serve, adding more racket head speed, which is getting him to clear the net and not have any double faults.
$15-30 here as Kopriva needs to be careful. He had won just 1 point on serve in the opening set until that final game where he was able to hold just to put himself on the scoreboard. Second set, he's won 6 points on serve, but 5 of them have come on the first serve. It's the second serve that's been a problem. This is a second serve point, and that's an inside-out forehand. A good one from Sinner, who follows it with an inside-in forehand that Kopriva could not get back, and it is 2 break points for Jannik Sinner.
Kopriva put the second serve in, but unfortunately he's only won 17% of second serves that he's put in. So really, he really needs to get that first serve in and give himself a chance to be in the point.
Sinner hops up and down. He's got a chance to break Kopriva for the 4th time today. He's been ruthless. A perfect 3 for 3 on break points. Serve down the center. That's the best serve on a break point Kopriva's given. Sinner can only block it back into the net. That's 1 break point saved, but still another to go. Here's the toss, and that's right down the middle, inside in forehand return from Sinner, who moves right for a deep forehand. Kopriva hangs up a forehand, backhand blasted by Sinner, who now steps in, plays a forehand drop shot. Here comes Kopriva. Can he get here? Yes. Shoves it right at Sinner, cuts it off with a backhand touch. Better from Kopriva. Tweener, Sinner, overhead, Kopriva. Oh, dazzling stuff. And it's Kopriva saving the second break point.
I cannot believe Sinner went to that tweener. But Kopriva was ready. I mean, I was almost convinced that was going to be a lob winner, but Kopriva was ready to make sure that he made that ball and won that point.
Sinner hit that tweener out of necessity. Sometimes you see people hot dogging. His back was to the net. It was his only play, and he was moving away from the court.
But what's great is that Kopriva he grit his face. His teeth were out. He's excited that he won that point. So that tells me that emotionally and energetically he's still in this match.
At deuce, Kopriva nets the backhand. And Sinner's got another break point.
So far behind the baseline, Kopriva has to do a better job of using his left hand to brush up underneath the ball and clear the net when he's that far behind the baseline.
Kopriva looks across the net to toss, and he tried to go out wide, but missed into net. Second serve coming here. Break point down is Vit Kopriva. Sinner blows on the right hand, twirls the racket. Now gets a look at a second serve that comes into his body. He meets it with a big backhand. Forehand from Kopriva. Sinner with a forehand. The world #1 sets up another forehand. He plays it safe, center of the court. Another middle ball, this time on the backhand from Sinner, who now goes forehand. A little bit more shape under that ball. Kopriva tried to flatten it out. Missed the backhand wide. Sinner breaks for the second time in this set, and he leads this set 4-1. Here comes the physio out for Sinner, hopefully just to cut off whatever was bothering him. We'll see. Oh, he's got the scissors. But we are going to have to say goodbye to Megan Moulton-Levy. You've got your coaching clinic and all the other busy things that make up your U.S. Open schedule. Megan, I'm glad we got to hang out today.
Hasta mañana, my friend.
Indeed. So Megan's going to depart. Patricia, he is going to jump into the hot seat, and we will be back on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express. 4 minutes short of the 1 hour mark. We're 7 minutes after 2 o'clock here on this Tuesday in New York City. It's day 3 of the singles competition at this year's U.S. Open. I'm Brian Clark. It's great to be joined by Patricia He. For the first time, we're working together this fortnight. How are you, Patricia?
I'm excellent. Thank you, Brian. And hello to everyone. Happy to be here. Excited for day 3.
Day 3, which means the last day of the first round, a 3-day first round, which we have done before, but it used to be the first round would just sort of trickle into Wednesday. But now with the Sunday start, the first round, once again back to 3 days, but the early start. So for somebody like Jannik Sinner, the defending champion a year ago, he has to wait until Tuesday to play his first round match. I'm sure he didn't mind that extra day of rest after the illness that short-circuited his final in Cincinnati just over a week ago, and we're seeing no ill effects from Sinner today. The physio came out and cut whatever was dangling off Sinner's, I think it was his wristband or racket, but all systems go, it appears, for Sinner, and it's been that way really all season long.
He just looks like he's on the express train. So far, I've been watching on the side.
He serves down the center. It's chipped back by Kopriva. Backhand blasted into net by Sinner. It's 30-all.
You know what, Brian? I noticed that he's really making a statement since he's been back on the tour. Like, I don't remember seeing him taking the second serve return so early, because a lot of the times he actually could like just be following it to the net, and he hits it with so much penetration. It's so difficult for the opponent to dictate the point after that.
Yeah, that's something that I think jumps out with Sinner, and it's part of what has made him so good, is just the speed at which he plays. And that really applies to, okay, sure, he's got foot speed, but just he takes time away. And we know how important that is at this level of tennis. If you can take time away from your opponent, and that's another area where he's been able to do it.
So apparently one of the players that I know who spent a lot of time on the Challenger Tour, and he signed up to be the hitting partner in Toronto. And he got to hit with Sinner. So he signed up to be a hitting partner for just players, but he was assigned to Sinner. And he said the ball quality that comes at him is no like other. It's just at a level its own.
Is that pace? Is that spin? Is that placement? Is it everything?
It's everything. It's the consistency of the ball landing on the baseline and the pace and how much, even when he was taken off the court, how he could be able to control the same level of hits. Hence, that he is where he is.
Yeah, the year that he's had. And now here's Vit Kopriva serving at 1-5 in the second set to Sinner. Amanda Anisimova has an early break chance in the first service game of the match for Kim Birrell on Armstrong. Anisimova, the Wimbledon runner-up, held to begin her first round match. Here's Kopriva at 15-love out into the Sinner backhand. The return middle, forehand netted by Kopriva. 15-all.
And it's a very tactical play we see when Sinner is receiving that first serve. He is not going to the corners. He's going back hard to the middle or a few foot away from the forehand or backhand, which makes the redirection of that ball so much harder.
Kopriva trying to come down the center, missed it wide. Alexander Bublik is up a set and now 4-1 on the 2014 champion Marin Cilic. Sinner's got a big smile on his face as he waits to receive this second serve. Now he's focused, drifts into the court, takes it early, follows it in. And Kopriva, seeing that, tried to pass him down the line, but missed into the net. It's 15-30.
And that's the right thing to do for anybody, not just Sinner, who's got great returns. The serve, not much on it. It's 86 miles per hour. And to be able to, to take advantage of that, Sinner took it very early and followed to the net, which we don't see a lot of.
At 15-30, now the shadows starting to come from left to right. They're about to enter the blue court here in Arthur Ashe Stadium. We started the match with the shadows behind the near baseline. But as the sun moves in the sky, the roof structure plays some games with the shadows. Backhand from Sinner hits the net cord, but sits up for Kopriva. Now cross-court forehand Sinner, who's in at the service line. Forehand volley stretching out Kopriva, stretching him too far. He wound up doing a split and then falling on his backside. And now he is down 2 set points. It's been a rough hour for Vit Kopriva. As we hit the 1 hour mark, he's down double set point. The world #1 Sinner has been ruthless.
And Kopriva had to work very, very hard after that serve, tracking from backhand and then wide to the forehand. Just a bit too much for him and landed on his backside.
15-40, Kopriva nets that first serve. He's won just 1 of 9 points behind his second serve in this set, just 3 of 19 in the afternoon. And he double faults. 7th time in the match, and that is the second set going to Jannik Sinner. He's having things all his way. The world #1 in fine form here at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Through 61 minutes, he's got 2 sets to love over Vit Kopriva on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express.
This is where barrier breakers meet dream chasers. And the OGs meet the next to bees. Wow. Where the stars, under these lights, sensational, meet a whole new electricity. This is where tradition meets trending. And every moment is history. Give her what she deserves, New York. The U.S. Open, spectacular awaits.
First ball, the third set. Jannik Sinner hopes is the last set he'll have to play this afternoon in Arthur Ashe Stadium. I love the way this is going. He might be heading out to the practice courts after this match over Vit Kopriva, because Sinner has had little problem. 6-1, 6-1 in 63 minutes to rip through the first 2 sets. Kopriva looked, we'll say, nervous to begin the match. He's played better, but he's really no match for the world #1, Jannik Sinner.
Sinner playing with so much confidence. This is almost like a practice match for him. And Brian, you know for sure he's going to be practicing later on, which actually I'm going to go and take a look also.
To watch that, we said that you were talking about that consistent ball quality. As right there, he just mishit a forehand as I said that. Try to put a little more shape under it. Exactly. 15 all for Sinner. We said before, if he gets through, he'll play either Alexei Popyrin or Emil Ruusuvuori, and Popyrin is up 2 sets to love. That's on court 5. We could have a comeback from 2 sets to love down for Francisco Cerundolo. He was down 2 sets to love to Matteo Arnaldi of Italy. He won the third 7-5, took the fourth 6-4, and now Cerundolo, who's seeded 19th, albeit his best results have come on clay, is serving first in the 5th set. That's on court 7. Caroline Dahlheid of the United States is up 5-2 in the opening set over Wang Xinyu of China. Inside in forehand, a good one from Sinner, but Kopriva slid into it, put plenty of pace and depth on that forehand. Backhand drop shot. Kopriva, Sinner slides into the backhand. Now backhand lob. Kopriva, Sinner going back. He's hit one tweener, doesn't go tweener there, but buried the forehand into the bottom of the net. Crowd enjoyed the athleticism on that point. It's 30 all.
Sinner did well to catch his slip on the baseline there, running for that drop shot, but to be able to still control with that racket in front of you and then backtrack to try to hit a forehand. He was really going for that shot. You know, that's noticed like the speed of his ground, especially on his forehand side. He's really bringing up the speed, and I saw that in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, the final, one of the few things that's gone wrong for Sinner on court this year, where that illness, he certainly looked out of sorts, and then he eventually retired against Carlos Alcaraz. There he unloads his 6th ace of the afternoon for 40-30.
That was such a great effort, though. You can imagine how under the weather he was, but he still tried at least come on the court and give it a try. And it was just with the heat and everything, but for the spectators, I'm sure they appreciate, while disappointed, but they appreciated the effort.
And Sinner holds for 1-love in this 3rd set. Keeping an eye on some other scores, on Armstrong, Amanda Anisimova, and Kimberly Birrell. Birrell was able to hold after saving a couple of break points in the 2nd game of the 1st set. So they're at 1-all on Stadium 17. Jacqueline Christian of Romania breezed through the opening set against the American Danielle Collins 6-2. Valentine Royer, a French wildcard, won the 1st set over Buyu Chankete of China 6-1 and is up a break at 3-2 in the 2nd. That's court 13. So here's Vit Kopriva serving for the first time in this 3rd set. He has struggled to hold his serve. He struggled to win points on serve, and a lot of that is because he has struggled to get the first serves in. He gets it in here, though, but missed the volley, the backhand volley at net. He punched it long. It's love 15.
Yeah, trying to put pressure on Sinner by coming forward to the net. He made it to the net, but just looked a bit awkward there, standing straight up, and lost control of his racket with a backhand volley.
Kopriva misses that first serve. Second serve on the way. It's down the center. Now the forehand middle, backhand short from Kopriva, who goes cross court with a backhand. Backhand lifted up by Sinner. Now an inside out forehand, a short ball. Kopriva slice backhand, Sinner's into net. And then he mimics his slice motion with his right hand as he heads back to the towel. It's 15-all.
One of the unusual unforced errors from Sinner with that slice backhand. Kopriva is doing everything he can now. It just looks like he's desperate. He's hitting hard from the side. He's hitting hard from the middle, and then coming to the net, just trying to find a place where he can earn a few points at this point.
Serve right down the center. Sinner was there for an aggressive backhand return. Now Sinner backs up, lifts the forehand, buys himself a little more time, moves right for a forehand. Sinner looks to be in control from the center of the baseline, swings around to the backhand, plays it middle, a shorter ball. Now forehand Kopriva, backhand cross, deep injection of pace from Sinner, follows it with a looping forehand that was just long. Beautiful setup. It was the execution that just missed from Sinner. It's 30-15.
Kopriva is trying to stay toe-to-toe, but just hitting through the middle part of the court. And that is really the best bet he can, because Sinner, he's so good at everything, but especially when you take him to the corners of the court, he is lethal.
It's 30-15 for Kopriva. His toss, his serves out wide, a sliding backhand from Sinner, backhand cross, Kopriva, backhand, Sinner goes cross court, had the open left sideline, but keeps it cross court. There's another backhand cross, now steps into the forehand, plays a drop shot, and he left it way too thin into net, and he shakes his head twice in frustration. It's 40-15 for Kopriva.
And Brian, technically, I know a lot of the tennis enthusiasts, they're playing singles, they're always thinking about getting the person to move out to the corners. But if you come up with a hot opponent who is on fire, you want to take away that angle and just go down the middle first, because this entire game, it revolves around the spots that Kopriva was hitting at.
Sinner to his left, plays a backhand, middle inside out forehand from Kopriva, backhand netted by Sinner on the cross court. Kopriva holds for 1-1 here in this third set. And now it'll be Sinner serving with new balls. Players head back to the bags for, or at least Kopriva does, a new racket.
Boy, second serve, Kopriva, 23%. That's a lot of pressure on you.
And the problem is, there's a lot of problems for Kopriva. I mean, look at the score. But the problem is, he's having to play so many second serves because his first serve percentage for the match is just 50%.
Yeah, and then you have to, you're going to have to decide on the court, do I keep going, the big blast serves, or do I take a little pace off and just get that first ball in too? But, either way, you're going to be in trouble because you got somebody who's like on fire locked in the match.
Through 71 minutes, Sinner's up 2-0 and now serving at 1-all, and he's got that first point after that wide serve was flown back long by Kopriva. It's 15-love. Alexei Popyrin up 2-0 on Emil Ruusuvuori. These score lines hold. It would be Sinner and Popyrin in the second round. At 15-love here, Sinner right down the center of Let. Alexander Bublik up 2-0 on Marin Cilic. We were talking earlier before you sat down, Patricia, just about Bublik's schedule leading into this U.S. Open. Well, he won 3 titles, 1 on grass and Halle, where he beat Sinner along the way, 2 on clay. He has not played a hard court match since Miami in March. So there's no hard court preparation, match preparation for Alexander Bublik coming into this U.S. Open. That was a big question, but he's answering those questions so far against Marin Cilic. We'll have Gil Gross out there on the grandstand in a bit.
When I was in Toronto at the Canada 1000, and of course that was the first hardcore tournaments a lot of these top players play. And with the European coaches, and that's what they were all saying, is like getting used to the speed of the court. Fonseca went out early in Toronto, but he's picking up speed, and it took weeks and weeks. So the fact that Bublik can come out like this, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how that match turns out. We know Marin Cilic at this point in his career is not the Marin Cilic of even a few years ago. But it will be interesting to see. Obviously, Bublik, a very unique guy. And if that preparation pays off here at the U.S. Open, and even if it doesn't, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. He won 2 titles and picked up a lot of money playing on clay in Europe in the summer. So there's certainly some benefit to that.
Oh, absolutely. But not only is Bublik not playing that, Djokovic didn't play anything. No hard court matches coming in. So that may be a thing that, mentally, because the schedule was so tough with those 10 days events.
As body serve from Sinner just blocked away by Kopriva. Sinner is cruising towards the second round of the U.S. Open, up 2-0 at 2-1 in the third on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express.
Back on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express. Gil Gross now courtside inside Armstrong for our second match of the day. It is the 8-seed Amanda Anisimova. For the first time in her career, a top 8 seed at a major tournament. She's taken on the Australian Kimberly Burrell. It's 2-all, 30-all in the first set. But early on, Anisimova frustrated, hasn't found her timing yet. There have been some errors, but on the scoreboard, it's all under control. She's serving at 30 all. Back to you, Brian.
Thanks very much, Gil. That's an Armstrong. Anisimova, the runner-up at Wimbledon earlier this summer. Jannik Sinner, the Wimbledon men's champion. We saw the women's champion victorious earlier today. That was Iga Swiatek. And Sinner trying to join her in the second round. He's up 2 sets to love over Vit Kopriva of the Czech Republic. Brian Clark back here with Patricia He. We're also keeping an eye on court 7, where Francisco Cerundolo trying to author the first comeback from 2 sets to love down of this U.S. Open. It would also be the first time in his career. He's 0-8 in terms of getting it to a 5th set, or going down 2 sets to love. He's never gotten all the way back.
Wow.
But
yeah, hey, that's always the first.
Exactly, against Matteo Arnaldi. Danielle Collins really having a tough time of things out on Stadium 17. Already down a break in the second set. She lost the first set to Jacqueline Christian 6-2. Here's Kopriva with a body serve. He now blasts across court forehand. Forehand middle from Sinner. A backhand lifted and floating long from Kopriva. 15-30.
15-30.
Could be a chance for Sinner to inch forward here.
Kopriva was looking for an out call because we say it's so deep, but I can't emphasize enough the depth of the ball that Sinner hits. No, some players would just have depth, but to have with pace and depth, Sinner is so consistent with that. And he hits, sometimes he can flatten out on his shots, and sometimes he can put a spin on it, depending on what part of the court he's at. Kopriva is just at a loss to do anything. I think he's doing his best. He is doing his best. But that serve, he's forcing it. He tosses it up, but he brings it, slams it down. His left hand actually drops. When your left hand drops, it's going to bring everything down.
There, he's able to keep that left hand a little bit higher, but then missed the backhand and is now down 2 break points.
15-14.
And both shots that he missed were pretty close to the shadow. It's quite an adjustment, too. Now that we see the shadow is creeping to the middle part of the court. And, yes, it does go both ways, but I think when you're in the losing end, it makes it harder.
Not only that, we're talking about the shadow from the roof structure. Sinner's played on Ash before. He knows the shadows. Vit Kopriva, this is a big stage, and this is his first taste of this big stage, as he missed that serve well wide. And, yeah, the shadow coming from left to right across the court, but the way it's angled, there's a little bit more shadow on the far side of the court where Sinner is. Kopriva now in the deuce court on the near side. He's in sunlight, serving into shadow, but he double faults, and Sinner's got the break, and he's got the lead in this third set.
Sinner leads by 3 games to 1.
Not a whole lot that, when listen, as you mentioned, Brian, not only has Sinner played many matches, right, on other stadium, but even practice-wise. So, Kopriva doesn't have the luxury of practicing more than 30 minutes before his match, and that's a big deal.
Absolutely. He probably got out before the women's match this morning. He hit on Ash, but that's a different animal than when you're...
Right. With the mixed doubles last week on Tuesday and Wednesday, so that cut out the practice for anyone, because before the tournament starts, there is more time, more court time available for players.
15 love here for Sinner. We're also looking at the second round schedule for tomorrow. The order of play is out, and it is quite good, I must say. Ash begins with Novak Djokovic, an 11:30 start against Zachary Svajda of the United States. And then it's Jessica Pegula and Anna Blinkova. That's the day session. Carlos Alcaraz, Mattia Bellucci play at night. Aryna Sabalenka and Polina Kudermetova. So
I don't remember Djokovic playing in day.
Especially the first match of the 11:30 start. Yeah, that does seem like a new one.
Yes. Usually he's later, closer to showtime and then nighttime.
Yeah.
So who's in the nighttime then?
So nighttime tomorrow is Alcaraz first against Bellucci, and then Sabalenka and Kudermetova.
Okay. Well, interesting.
Sinner here playing in the daytime. 3-1. It's 30 love for the world number 1. He thumps that serve down the center. Armstrong tomorrow. Emma Raducanu begins against Janice Tijen. And then Taylor Fritz and Lloyd Harris, so not before 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock start. I am Brian Clark, though. Maybe that's why I got confused, as the forehand was netted by Kopriva. It's 40 love for Sinner tomorrow night. It's Jasmine Paolini against Iva Jovic, and then Ben Shelton and Pablo Carreño Busta. Emma Navarro, Katie McNally open things up on the grandstand. Mahach and Fonseca in what should be a lively encounter. Second on the grandstand, and then Francis Tiafoe on the grandstand against Martin Dahm of the United States. It's a not before 3 o'clock start, so a sensational Wednesday lineup at the U.S. Open. You can find the full lineup on usopen.org or, of course, the U.S. Open app. It's great to have you with us on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express. Looks like we'll be having Jannik Sinner for a little bit longer, at least in this U.S. Open. He is up 4-1 on Vit Kopriva on this third set on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express.
Back on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express, Gilgross courtside inside Armstrong, where Kimberly Birrell of Australia has gone down a break against Amanda Anisimova, the Wimbledon finalist, but now she's got a couple of break points to get back to level in the first set. Service winner here into the body by Anisimova, who has been frustrated with her forehand, and that's the barometer shot, guys. Her two-handed backhand, one of the best in the world, bar none. It rarely fails her, but the forehand can go up and down a little bit. She's been upset with the performance off of that wing so far, but it's still early. One more break point to fend off here for Anisimova. Brian?
Thanks, Gil, and just seeing what kind of afternoon it is for Vit Kopriva. Just hit a great backhand down the line, but problem was it was just wide. And Jannik Sinner looks to be rolling towards the second round of the U.S. Open, up 2-0 and 4-1 on Kopriva, who serves from the shadow on the far baseline, went flat and out wide, but he missed it wide. Sinner, as we said, if he can hang on here, will play either Alexei Popyrin or Emil Ruusuvuori in the second round. And it's Popyrin up 2-0. That's on court 5 right now. Forehand from Sinner, now a backhand cross, backing up. It's Sinner with a forehand cross court, backhand down the line from Kopriva. Stretched out forehand is long from Sinner, and that was one of the few times that Kopriva has been able to kind of bog Sinner down in one of those exchanges.
One of the rare moments that he was actually behind the shot and hit a solid shot. Yeah, he looks a bit disheartened to me, which is understandable, because you come to the U.S. Open, you want to have a good performance, but then he so far has just been outplayed. And what the question is, what will he come away with for Kopriva? What is it he needs to work on? Because this is the best of the best that he's playing against.
Jannik Sinner showing why he has had such a sensational season, showing why he is coming into this U.S. Open as the favorite. 30-15 for Kopriva here. Second serve on the way. He's had a big problem getting the first serves in, fewer than half for the match, and he's won just 7 of 27 second serve points. Lifted forehand from Sinner, who moves right for a forehand, and missed it long, did Sinner. It's 40-15 for Kopriva.
Kopriva has a lot to deal with from the returns, from his second serve, especially because the ball's coming so fast at him. And the best tactics to is go straight up the line, up the middle of the court, which he has done in the last few points.
So here is Kopriva at 40-15. It was Boisson, the surprise French Open semifinalist, rather, is in a second set tiebreak with Victoria Golubic of Switzerland. And Golubic just won that tiebreak to force a third against Boisson.
40-30.
40-30 now here on Ash for Kopriva. Talking about Swiss players, qualifier Leandro Reedy is up 2-0 on Spain's Pedro Martinez. That's on court 6. Serve goes out wide off the back foot. A forehand from Kopriva, forehand from Sinner. Now a forehand from Kopriva. Sinner takes it with his own forehand cross court. Now Sinner plays a short backhand middle. Forehand from Kopriva, pulls Sinner right, and he missed the forehand cross court. Kopriva holds. Crowd likes that. He's got 2 games in this third set after having won in each of the first and second sets, but still Sinner with plenty of comfort. He's up 4-2 here in the third.
Crowd wants to see more of a match out of this match.
Yeah, this is actually where I think we might be heading into a situation where you do wonder if a match could be moved into Arthur Ashe Stadium. Because if Sinner finishes this in the next, let's say, 10 minutes, he's off the court by 3 o'clock. That's a pretty short session. So if you could find a women's match to move, we did this on the first day of the tournament on Sunday. Match moved into Armstrong Stadium, just the way the day wrapped up early there. We'll see if they do it here for Ashe Stadium, of course, without risking running into the night session. That's why it would certainly have to be a women's match.
It's just a lot of juggling for the tournament director, isn't it? It's like you said, not to run into the night session. And there are quite a few women's matches. If you were the tournament director, Brian, who would you put there?
It's tough when you look at it.
What about the Kenin? Sophia Kenin versus Ashlyn Kruger, 2 Americans. You know, that would make sense.
Right. But then what do you do to the grandstand? Because then you're only having 3 matches on the grandstand because you're taking that off the grandstand. And I guess you just bump another match onto the grandstand and you figure that out. But, yeah, the Kenin match against Ashlyn Kruger, that would make a sense for a lot of reasons. You've got another American here in Sophia Kenin. That was a not before 3 o'clock start. They were to follow the Bublik-Cilic match, so they would have seen Bublik go up 2-0 and think, okay, we're going to be on court shortly or at 3 o'clock. So maybe we'll keep you posted if that happens. But right now, Vit Kopriva might say, hey, I'm still in this because he's got love 30 on the Sinner serve here. Sinner backing up, plays an overhead from the right service line. Backhand slice drifts wide from Kopriva. It's 15-30.
And this is like really the first time that Kopriva even had a chance to go 2 points ahead in the entire match. First serve percentage one on Sinner, 82%. That is just crazy high.
And he missed that first serve wide up the center. Second serve on the way from Sinner. Goes right into the body, backhand middle. Now forehand from Sinner to the cross-court forehand of Kopriva. Now slice backhand Kopriva. Sinner runs around it to angle the forehand. Cross-court on the ad side, backhand cross from Sinner. Backhand drop shot Kopriva. Here comes Sinner. Forehand hits the tape, drops in. Kopriva right there to whip a backhand pass. And Kopriva, for the first time in this match, has break points.
Solid for play from Kopriva from the return position. He returned way deep in the backhand of Sinner and then coupled by 2 really good shots and did a little finesse of a drop shot that brought Sinner in and went for an open court passing. Kopriva's backhand is so compact, very close to his body, that allows him to wrap the ball short angle like he did on that passing shot winner.
Good serve out wide. That's Sinner saving the first break point. Has one more to worry about. We hit the 90-minute mark in this match. Second break point here for Jannik Sinner to try to save. And there's the toss. That serve right up the center, stretched out. Kopriva, he couldn't get it back. Sinner saved both break points. Next door on Armstrong, Amanda Anisimova looks to have found her way in this first set, Gil Gross.
Yeah, the serving advantage for Anisimova came up really big down the stretch of that opening set. Burel at 3-4 threw in a couple of double faults. Anisimova trying to get her body weight moving into her forehand a little better. Came up with a good one on that return game to get the break. And then Anisimova, 2 aces in the 5-3 game, which helped her close it out drama-free. So 6-3 opening set to Amanda Anisimova, playing as a top 8 seed at a slam for the first time at this year's U.S. Open.
Different story for another American on Stadium 17, Danielle Collins. Down 5-love in the second set to Jacqueline Christian, who is serving for the match at 30-love. Back here in Ash, Jannik Sinner saved 2 break points. That's the most adversity he's faced in this match. And now he's got a chance for 5-2 here in this third set. He's up 2 sets to love on Vit Kopriva, the world number 89. But as we said before, you know, Kopriva's story, he was somebody, it took him a while. I know, Patricia, you and I talk about it a lot, just to find his footing at the pro level. It's been about a 10-year climb to get inside the top 100. He got inside the top 80 for the first time earlier this summer. But it's a tough go just to climb those rankings.
I tell you, I just had this conversation yesterday with another player. You know, every player has a time. Some would have all the stars line up a lot quicker than others. So it's really not a race with anybody but themselves. It's a race against your determination, your motivation. And when you have those tough, bad losses, are you still able to come back and do it? So obviously with 10 years of experience under his belt, and to see him making his way to the U.S. Open main draw, not to mention all the fundings, all the resources that he has built for himself when you get to the Grand Slams, and that's what's allowing him to keep going.
He plays a lot at the challenger level. He won a title this year in Naples, so he's dipping between the main tour and the challenger level. By the way, Danielle Collins just went down 6-love in that second set, so a straight set loss to Jacqueline Christian. And here, Jannik Sinner fights through those break points and holds for 5-2. He's a game away from moving on to the second round of the U.S. Open.
Third set, about 2 sets to love.
So we will take a very quick break and then come back. Sinner does have the physio back out. Looks like he's working on that finger again. We'll take a quick break and come back to Ash on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express. Brian Clark, Patricia He back in Arthur Ashe Stadium, where Vit Kopriva will try to stay in Arthur Ashe Stadium just a bit longer, serving at 2-5 in this third set to the world number 1, Jannik Sinner. Kopriva had 2 break chances in that last service game, but could not take them. Although an ace is a solid start, we have harped on the struggles for Kopriva to, first of all, get free points on his serve, and then just to back things up by winning second serve points. There, an ace, his 4th of the match for 15-love. He goes flat and out wide.
Mentally, when you go and you play like the Alcarazes, the Sinners of this world, you go in and mentally you want to just do the best you can, and two ways. Some players was just like, oh, I want to pass this hour mark. And then the other players, I just want to steal as many points, because it's just mind-boggling how the difference of the level between the top players.
15 all for Kopriva. He misses well wide. It's worth noting, by the way, we had mentioned that Jacqueline Christian, she won 6-love in the second set over Danielle Collins. That was her first U.S. Open main draw win. And she will play either Sophia Kenin or Ashlyn Kruger. So she's guaranteed to play another American in the second round. Here, Jannik Sinner just blasted a backhand winner down the left sideline.
Nothing on that second serve. It was just sitting there. There was no kick, nothing other than just it went over the net, and Jannik Sinner just came out too strong with that one.
15-30 right down the center. Sinner looked like an off-balance return and almost got away with it, but it was just wide on the forehand. It's 30 all.
Yeah, he did get wobbly on that. It looked a little bit awkward. And you see Sinner's trying to mimic his shorter backswing on the forehand return.
30 all. Good wide serve. A forehand from Sinner. Plays into the center of the court. Now in at net. It's Kopriva tried to pick up the half volley, but missed into net. And finds himself down a match point after an hour, 37 minutes.
Great hit from Kopriva with that backhand to drive to the corner and closing very quickly, but just let the ball drop a bit, and it just could not control the height.
Match point for the world number one, the defending U.S. Open champion. And Vit Kopriva's toss, the serve into Sinner's backhand. It's deep and it's good. Now another backhand from Sinner, injecting more pace. Backhand cross-court Kopriva. Down the line comes Sinner. Kopriva plays a forehand. Middle forehand now from Sinner. Inside-out forehand Kopriva. And Sinner tried to win it in style down the line with the backhand, but he might have hit the back fence. It's deuce.
Well, that's a shot that, he missed it today, that down the line Sinner just did. But there's so many times, so many matches I've seen how he made it, so he's just keep on going after the shots. No pulling back on anything.
Kopriva saving the match point, getting this game to deuce. Good wide serve, a great deep forehand return from Sinner, who follows it with a backhand cross-court, backhand middle from Kopriva, forehand from Sinner, a hook forehand just wide from Kopriva. Second match point for Jannik Sinner.
Corner of his eyes, Kopriva saw that Sinner took the ball early and came on behind it and felt that pressure with the passing.
Sinner down a second match point. Second match point on the Kopriva serve. The toss, and that serve goes out into the Sinner backhand return. Short forehand Kopriva. Sinner meets it with a sliding forehand. Backhand middle from Kopriva. Backhand down the line. That's a winner. And place booked in the second round for Jannik Sinner. The title defense well and truly underway. And with that performance, encouraging signs from Jannik Sinner as he tries to become the first man in over 15 years to defend a U.S. Open title. 6-1, 6-1, 6-2. He breezes in 1 hour, 38 minutes over Vit Kopriva of the Czech Republic.
And that's a routine match for Sinner. Solid, nothing fancy. He went after his shots as usual, and he came to the net a little more, tested out, and that's a good sign to see players when they're winning that comfortably to have the courage to be able to do something a little different, and it just looked like he was using it as a practice match, Brian.
And Vit Kopriva departs Arthur Ashe Stadium. So we said before, this completed his run of making the main draw at all four majors. But it was a tough experience today. And Ashe against Jannik Sinner, he was very nearly bageled in the first set. He grabbed a game, but lost it in 30 minutes. 6-1, 31-minute second set. He was better in the third, 6-2. And he had those 2 break points in what was Sinner's final service game. But Sinner was able to hold. And then he closed it out 6-2 to roll into the second round and a date with either Alexei Popyrin or Emil Ruusuvuori. And it's Ruusuvuori making things interesting, as he's not going away in that third set. It's Popyrin up 2-0. We also have a final, the first 2-0 comeback to win in this U.S. Open. And that's Francisco Cerundolo on court 7. He came all the way back to beat Matteo Arnaldi. So the 19th seed Cerundolo stays alive.
Congratulations, you look good in the
And Jannik Sinner's on court right now.
Felt your best since we last last saw you on a court in Cincinnati. How did it feel out there today?
Yeah, feels great to be back here. Obviously, it's a very special tournament, the last Grand Slam of the year, and the atmosphere here is always amazing. So thanks everyone for coming, for cheering, for supporting, and obviously very happy that I'm healthy again, that we did our best to be in the best possible shape here. So I'm very happy about today's match, today's performance, and yeah, let's see what's coming.
You mentioned last time we saw you on this court, you were holding up that trophy. What are the memories that come running through when you walk in and take that stage?
Yeah, amazing memories. Obviously, every year is different. You come here, starting this tournament, hopefully in the best possible way, which I did. But yeah, coming back to a Grand Slam where the emotions are still running, definitely is here. So I'm very happy to come back here and compete against the best players in the world.
We'll see you in 2 days. Congratulations, Jannik Sinner, ladies and gentlemen.
A nice 2025 debut for Jannik Sinner. We thought we were going to see him last week in the mixed doubles competition. He was entered, but then withdrew after that illness in Cincinnati. So he is rested and looks ready to rock here in New York City. That was a very convincing performance, Patricia.
Convincing performance, but so classy in his post-match interview. The respect he has for his opponents, for the players he's competing with, the best players in the world. So he's not just seeing himself that way, he sees everybody there. Just amazing.
And by the way, we were wondering if a match would be moved, and indeed a match has been moved into Arthur Ashe Stadium. From court 7, the 21st seed Linda Noskova and Dalma Galfi from Hungary. They will play in Ashe Stadium. That's a not before 3 o'clock start, so you imagine that will be soon. Court 7, that of course backed up because of the marathon 5-set win for Francisco Cerundolo. The 19th seed came back from 2 sets to love down for the first time in his career and for the first time of anybody at this U.S. Open. Alexander Bublik right now is looking at a couple of match points as he looks to begin his hard-court season in the summer in style, and he's done just that. Bublik knocks out the 2014 U.S. Open champion Marin Cilic. Bublik's had a sensational summer. He's got 3 titles this year, and he moves into the second round of the U.S. Open with a service winner out on the grandstand. So Alexander Bublik moves on. It's all happening here on this Tuesday at the U.S. Open as Bublik advances. Bublik in this U.S. Open is seeded 23rd, and he will take on either Lorenzo Sonego or Tristan Schoolcake, the Australian wild card, in his second round encounter. We know that Jannik Sinner's into the second round. He awaits the winner of that match between Alexei Popyrin and Emil Ruusuvuori. And we're learning more about how the second round is going to shake out. We'll have it all coming up on U.S. Open Radio, presented by American Express.